Hi everyone, and welcome back to episode number 62 of the Couch on Ice podcast. Today we're going to be talking about some games we watched, a little bit of that Winter Classic action that we got to see. Oh boy, I cannot speak today, boys.
Classic.
Like, oh, this is really not going well for me today. This is the second intro I've already tried to start, and I've cracked my voice already, so... Shows how my day's going. Let's get us to laugh again. Might as well, but I'm just gonna throw it away with that. Let's just start the podcast, hey boys. I'll throw it over to you guys. How have you guys been this week? What have you been up to? Chase.
Just playing a little ODR and shit. Hitting the old ODR on that one day that wasn't minus 490.
Minus 40. Oh, it's been so cold. Man,
dog. No, that one day was just beautiful. Look out the
window right now, and it's like half a blizzard.
Yeah.
It's awful. It sucks.
It's pretty nice. I like when it's snowing. It makes me happy when it snows.
When it's snow. Minus 40 or 30, though. I love the snow.
Minus 20 is not sweet.
No, definitely not. But
I want to go snowmobiling. Get some brapping in here.
That would be nice. But how was the ODR? Was it like pretty smooth? How much shoveling did you have to do?
Oh, always shoveling. Half of it is shoveling, but that's the game.
The fun of it.
That's the name of the game. Go there. I don't know. It's been pretty good most of the time. If it's not good, there's like another 4. So like you just go drive a couple more blocks down the street.
Is it just you on the ODR there pretty much, or is anyone else?
Usually it's just me. I seem to hit it right when there's nobody there, so I can just piss around and shovel and do my thing.
Practice
see some real hockey go on.
Practice your Zegras assist by yourself.
You don't even know the fucking dangles the guy's got, hey? Like, real.
When there's no cameras and no people, when there's no cameras and no people, I'm a fucking damn good hockey player.
Dude, I went to the ODR for a reason because they got like no NHL players playing these NHL games, so
trying to relate with all these random East Coast players playing in the NHL. So this is what it feels like to get called out of your bed randomly one day and make the NHL. That's what the Winter Classic seemed to look at with how cold it was. So.
That's
looked like an ODR, man. Those guys
like minus 40 here, and it's just like, it's gonna be minus 20 there, boys. That's how she is.
Ryan O'Reilly was turning into like Jack Frost or like the Abominable Snowman or something like that.
His like whole beard was just
like
turning
white.
Just
frozen.
Love it. Meryl's just a little bit of stash.
Just white.
Fuck, that's hilarious.
So good.
Did you see the picture of the guy, the fan in the stands, beer?
That was like overflowing.
Oh, that was
a
fucking fantastic picture.
His comment, like, did I not drink it fast enough, or is it just too damn cold for this?
Yeah. That picture summed up this Winter Classic.
Summed up this past week.
Yeah, and like Panger just going nuts, man. Panger, God, is this guy fucking hilarious? Just wrapped up like a flipping taco or something, man. He's just he's like the greatest. He's the only guy I ever hear say Sniper Perron. Like he'll be the only guy. The only guy. He's just such a big Blues fan. I just love it.
Perron is probably the most underrated player of this.
But like nobody calls him Sniper. Perron. Give me a break.
He's probably good enough.
Let's not go too far here, Banger.
I don't know. I'm not against it. I think Perron's
I'm not against it. Yeah,
20 goals every year seems like a pretty decent sniper to me.
I'm not saying
second line sniper.
Yeah, like he's a sniper in a sense, because he can score goals, but let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Fucking Pang.
If you actually check out the Twitter account at Coach on Ice, I don't know if you guys saw it, the intro, they had like a drone ripping around the place.
Oh, yeah.
Through the field and all that crap. Yeah, it was so sick. Like, it's like a 2-minute video of them just like flying through, like going into the locker rooms, down into the dugouts, and coming out and ripping over top of the ice and stuff. It was sick.
See if I can pull that up. I haven't seen it yet. But no, how about I throw it over to you, Jordan? What did you get up to this past week? Chase ripped up on ODR and watched some puck. What about you?
We went to the hot springs, so we got a nice.
Oh, you actually did go this week, eh?
Yeah.
How was it?
A nice private room. It was awesome. We got some beers before it. There's a brewery literally just across the parking lot, essentially.
Nice.
Yeah, so we got a beer before then, and then we went into the private room, and we were there for like an hour and a half, and it was awesome.
That's sweet. At least you had a good time there, and
yeah,
it was your Christmas gift.
Mineral water and everything. So.
How long were you there for?
Like an hour and a half.
Oh yeah, not super duper long, but
no, it's hard to be there long, and the limit I think was 2 hours.
Right.
But...
Well, I didn't know if you guys like got a hotel there or something, and all day, kind of like every few hours, like you would go for an hour, take a break.
No, that'd be sweet.
That sounds like it'd be super dope. But good thing, at least you had a good time in the hot springs. I went to one in Banff there. They're super nice. Super nice.
Yeah.
A little bit awkward there because I went into school and there's a whole bunch of other people there.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, it was pretty good. Jordan knows
well,
more of the
it's
story.
Usually awkward when it's just like 9 million people. It's just like, oh yeah, we're all enjoying this together, all 100 of us in this decently.
Didn't used to think that way. We never used to think that way though. Like, remember, like,
oh yeah, I always thought it was weird. I never liked that everything was just so busy. I always wanted to hit everything at like the slow time. Just
see, and
way less
like
people.
there's all I understand that in like big events. Like I went to, for example, we went to Disney World on July 4th, and that was the worst day of my life. Like, there were so many people in Disney World there. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It was awful. But like,
go to like snowboarding or something like that. Like,
yeah,
make sure you're not hitting those big days because like there's just no point.
Children that fall on their knees every 2 seconds.
And like the lineup can get just insane. Yeah, like it's so ridiculous. The traffic around Banff and all that area can be just a waste of your time. True. You know.
So we went.
You're just actually waiting for 75% of your day and snowboarding for like maybe 10%.
Right. Yeah, we went in like the spring, so like it wasn't busy like at all. Like, it was in the middle of school. We like missed a whole week of school because of it or whatever, because it was like a band trip. But no, it was good. Like, the hot springs were fine. There was like no people there except us. But I mean, then again, it was a whole like classroom, a couple different classes of kids, right? So there's like 100 of us or whatever there, but it wasn't too bad. Can't complain. It was, at least the hot springs, like Jordan says, felt great.
Yeah.
But should we get in some puck, boys?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of gave away what we were going to start talking about with that good old Winter Classic. So I'm going to throw it over to Chase. And Chase, you can just kick it off with the Winter Classic.
Oh, yeah, sweet up. Yeah, no, it was like we were saying, real chilly day. Panger being hilarious.
Panger.
Yeah, no doubt. No, it was kind of obviously not great because not like all the media, everybody couldn't be there, sort of thing.
Yeah, but I have actually to confess about it. I read on Twitter like 2-3 hours before the podcast, and I texted Chase, and he's probably so confused because I didn't even answer him.
Yeah, what was that?
The podcast, I said, well, so there goes your segment for the future watch, because I read on Twitter that they were canceling the game and rescheduling it. So I was like, are you shitting me? And then like, I didn't read my phone for like another 2-3 hours, and then I looked, I'm like, oh, the Winter Classic is happening. I'm like, what the fuck? Because like I read it from...
I'm like I texted you back like, what up?
Yeah,
like started looking around on like maybe he's talking about some news. I just like checked.
Well, and I was referencing.
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like,
that's what I was trying to reference, but then like I looked, I'm like, oh, I guess they aren't canceling it. But like, it wasn't some random Twitter account. Like, it was someone I recognized. It was an actual insider.
I'm sure there was a rumor about.
There's probably talks about it
because, like I said, like they didn't have they had like Panger I think Panger was the only one that was actually out and about for most of the time, other than Keith Jones. Keith Jones was the other one, but he wasn't doing that the whole time. So
I just listened to an interview of his. He is funny as hell.
Yeah, Keith Jones is a beauty. Hey,
Jones is so funny, man. He told his coach off so many times in the NHL, in Colorado or something like that, or Philly, one of the two, where he was in contract negotiations and he was talking to he represented himself for the first time, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I got this. I'm very confident myself." And he talked to the GM. He's like, "You should get an agent because these things can get pretty rough." And they were friends, obviously, the GM and Jonesy. And he's like, no, I think I got this. I can do it myself. And he's like, okay, but just so you know, there's usually a buffer. And now I got to tell you why you don't deserve to be paid and why you're bad. And he's like, oh, he didn't consider that. And he goes, well, I think I should be paid so-and-so's money. And he's like, no, well, I think you're this and this. He's like, well, this person gets this and gets the same amount of points as that, blah, blah, blah. And he only makes. But he plays with Lindros and I forget who the other lineman was on the time. Like John LeClaire or something like that. He plays with Lindros and LeClaire. And he's like, fuck, if I play with those guys, I can make that many points in heartbeat. And starts shitting on him, and he's like, well, you have this many points as so and so. He's like, oh, I've never heard of that name. And he knows full aware who the guy is. Opens his empty briefcase, looks in it, goes, oh yeah, well, I'm this much better, and tries to like work his way. Now they have a conversation. The GM's like, oh, I'll give you a call later. In a few days. And he's like, oh, perfect. I nailed that. I nailed it as an agent for the first time. And he's going, 4 weeks later, hasn't gotten a call from the GM and goes, maybe it didn't work out. and then Ray Ferraro gives him a call and says, hey, use my agent if you haven't gotten a deal yet. He used the agent. A day later, he got a contract that was worth exactly what he wanted. So cool little contract story for Jones.
That's great. Cool.
Hilarious.
But sorry to jump in with the story there, Chase.
It's a cool little story. So this game was pretty wild, actually. Like 10 goals going on, probably 5 of them banking off of somebody. Basically, it
was awful.
This last like few days or whatever. Yeah. It's been start of the new year. Just everybody's just scoring off of hitting.
It's the first day of hockey again. It looks like the first week of the NHL.
Yeah, man. Yeah, everybody got that time off. You completely went home and forgot about this stuff. And
yep.
And
time to start over, I guess. And shit. And now it's just like they get to reset, which I think all in all is a good thing. And I'll get into that in a bit here.
But yeah, no, this was actually a pretty good game. It was definitely apparent that the Wild weren't going to win this game kind of from the start. Yeah. Missing that Ek line, just him in general was just
Eriksson Ek is key on this team. They already aren't that deep center wise, and losing their best center is
it was just the second period that really killed them. Obviously, St. Louis scored like 5 goals. Kyrou's
so good, man.
Just got 4 points.
Yeah, he's the best.
Wait, sorry. 1, 2, 3,
Did you get
4,
5 points?
5. No, yeah, it was 4.
4 points? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
4 points in that period.
Yeah, it was 4 points, which was a Winter Classic record.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I would think so, hey? Jesus,
man, he's so talented. And no, it's crazy. Kaprizov had 3 points right behind him, too. We're not even talking about how good he was. He was all over the ice. Like, I've never seen a winger just carry a team the way Kaprizov does. Like, there's the closest thing is Panarin, probably.
Yeah.
He just takes
awesome.
Over the game.
He truly is. He's way better than I thought he was.
Yeah, honestly.
It sucks that we didn't really get to see him and stuff like that.
As a true entry-level deal, yeah.
And he just shows up.
Shows up and just
unbelievable,
man. Just a man. Yeah. But no
doubt.
Good news for even more good news for the Wild. they have just called up Matt Boldy and Marco Rossi.
Yeah, they're set to make their debuts on Thursday against the Bruins. Nice, as long as everything goes proper with COVID protocol crap. So as long as there isn't BS with all that, we're gonna see Marco Rossi and Boldy in the NHL, the future of the Wild. Which, if they come in,
Marco Rossi, because he has been dominating the AHL.
Oh yeah,
so far he has played 21 games. He has 7 goals and 23 points.
Wow, that's awesome. I thought you were about to say 23 assists. I was like, Jesus fuck, but that's still very good. No, I'm a big fan of these two. I'm really intrigued to see how they play with them. Now, it's their debut. I'm not going to expect a hat trick of assists from Rossi and Boldy to get two in front of the net. Like, I don't expect that, but I just want to see how close they are. I want to see how close they are to the NHL. Like, they're obviously close enough that they're tearing up the AHL and having a good time. So I've been waiting for this. This Minnesota team's already good. Wait until these younger guys start stepping up and playing in this team. Oh boy.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
This team is going to be so scary in the future.
Yeah, it's crazy that they bought those 2 contracts out, but it is probably the best move because you have actual young entry-level contracts that are going to carry your team, you know, and you got Ryan Hartman at what does he even make?
1.7 million for 3 years.
Like, it's the greatest contract on earth.
Pretty much.
Nobody's ever made such a amazing deal ever in life in any sport. That's insane.
There's a couple contracts in the NHL you can go around and be like, that's a fantastic contract.
Like we were talking about how great Kaprizov is, but Ryan Hartman has to stand in the right spot to make all this shit happen.
That's
and
true.
He is. So.
That's true. That's very true. Kaprizov needs to skate around everyone, but if there's no one to pass it to, then he's not getting the assist or anything. So, this Minnesota team's got a lot of promise coming up. Lots of promise, and they're already playing good. But is there any notes you wanted to add to the game as well?
Not much. It just that one Kyrou goal was just gross. Like, this guy's evolved. Like, he's truly evolved. He's ready to.
Him and Terry, to me, in the NHL are established enough to be like top 6 at
and the thing I like about Kyrou is that he gives you like a McDavid flash or like Thuy flash, you know, like those guys.
He reminds me a little bit of Taylor Hall a couple of years ago.
Yeah, hey, you know,
Devil's
like, guys
Hall?
that actually have that crazy skill, and just once they're going, they're too much to handle, you know. It's just how it is.
Yeah, I very much like Kyrou. I think this year he's proved it. Like, oh my god, he's been a revelation to the Blues.
Yeah, exactly. So. Much needed, because like you never knew how well Buchnevich was just gonna pop over and stuff like that. So
it's been Robert Thomas also was gonna make it. That's
another
steps.
guy I should bring up. He's very impressive. He's gonna be a little bit more of a shadowy guy. Gonna be shadowed by that Kyrou.
He's gonna be their new Luke Shen.
But wow, yeah.
He's going to take
their
over
new
that
Braden
role.
Shen.
Braden Shen, sorry, not Luke. That's why I meant.
Braden.
I meant Braden. I meant the
That's
center.
good, because then that means
he's disappeared.
Old Doug Armstrong can, like, you know, make a move for him. Like,
think
about what people would give up for a Braden Shen, you know.
They should give up on Braden Shen. He's really struggling. I know that, like, typically is a bad idea to trade players who are struggling, but that's a tough contract to get rid of, man. $6.5 million for another, like, 6 years.
Yeah, I'm just gonna check that contract.
2027-28 is when it ends, and it's 6.5, and he's 30. I don't think you trade that unless you are really sweetening it.
Is stupid. Yeah.
I'm a pretty big Shen fan, so
me too.
I don't know what to say.
I don't know if you get rid of him. I think
he's just in a slump.
He's probably in a slump. Like, I say, he'll still probably be good for 3-4 years. Good enough to be an NHL top 9. Like, he can be a third liner on a Stanley Cup winning team in a heartbeat. If they got good enough contracts all around.
He's not the best second line center to win a Stanley Cup. I'll tell you that.
He never was, though. So, him, you know? Yeah. It's the Vegas mentality with just a better natural center there. He's very average, but with good wingers, he's a very good center.
Oh, for a bit. So. Yeah, he's definitely not a guy that just crazy stands off the page, and that's what's good. You don't need him to,
He's a big body, he's a big presence, dude. Yeah.
Like, am I looking at this right? This guy's got 12 goals. Ivan Barbashev.
Yeah, actually. Oh my god.
Holy shit, dude. Like, yeah, this St. Louis team, like, I like them. I like them a lot. I like them for this cup. I really do.
Yeah,
they're
really
pushing we'll see how the
hard.
Season goes.
Yeah, they're pushing extremely hard for this.
I think they're just simply a nice little D-man away. Somebody that slots in nice, and I think gives them that little bit extra oomph. Like,
definitely. Did this Prunovich play in that game? Scott Prunovich, left D-man, number 4.
I think I remember Panger making sure he said his name like 7 times.
Okay, yeah. Imagine. That's a guy I would like to watch out for. He's 23. He's only 5'9", but he's a really good puck-moving defenseman, a really good skater.
And like Mikkola is like a defenseman. He's not a terrible defense.
He's not as bad as I thought.
This is a defensive prospect group that's been kind of just smushed down for way too long. Like, there's probably 3 or 4 guys that should have been playing bottom pair minutes for the last 2-3 years on this team, but they just ended up getting Krug and trading for Falk and trying to get as many good defensemen in there because they knew they were moving on from Petro.
And they're trying to win, right? Like, they're still trying.
Yeah, exactly. Hey,
which makes complete sense what they did. No, this Blues team's legit, though. I think they're gonna really make a big push.
Well, they're just built well, right?
They are built. They're built for the playoffs. They're very much built for the playoffs. As long as their goaltending holds up, and Binnington is very, I wouldn't say he's very consistent, but it's one direction or the other. He's either very consistently bad or consistently good. He just goes hot and cold all the time, and if he can get hot at the right time, we saw what happens.
Yeah, he gets fiery.
Yeah, and he clearly doesn't get nervous, as he said many times, right? Like, he shut down that Bruins team. He's the reason they won that cup. The Bruins Cup to win that year until Binnington said no.
The only emotion Binnington feels is anger.
Yes, that's very accurate. Swinging the stick.
Yeah, he's pretty feisty.
He's a guy. I love Binner sometimes, but sometimes I just bash my head against a brick wall. Like, guy, shut. Like, if he was my teammate, I would have slapped him in the dressing room already, being like, "What in the fuck is your problem?" Like, stop half the time.
Yeah, well, Bennington's got like as many penalties as like guys who win the Selkie.
He probably has more career penalty minutes than Jacob Slavin. The way Jacob Slavin doesn't take penalties, he probably does.
No doubt.
But
definitely in the last
in the past year or two, NHL, since they've been full-time NHLer, since Binnington's been a full-time NHLer, he's probably had more penalty minutes than Slavin. Is there there's nothing else you got on like Minnesota before we kind of move off of them for a minute?
Nope.
No, I guess I'll poke at Cam Talbot. Like, man, why aren't they playing the other goalie like at all? Like, it's not like Cam Talbot's doing outstanding or something like that.
He's
like,
good.
I don't understand
he's
why.
He's very good, but he's just not. Cam Talbot has never been better than a.
You guys go into the game playing a 4-4 game. That's what you're going for. You're like every time. So like, why does it matter what goalie's in net? Like, is Kakinen going to be that much worse or better? Like, I don't understand.
Talk about how good this Kakinen's going to be, and he's 25. Yeah. Like, he's at that prime age to really make a difference as a goalie. Yeah. I don't understand either. I'm the wrong person to ask because I have been riding the Kakinen train since for 2 years now. Like, I think he's legit a goalie, at least a 1A at the primes of his career. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
He looked awesome.
It's also
in that gear, man. That was sweet.
What Talbot did last year as well. I it makes sense why Evason trusts Talbot more.
That's 24 games, man. Like, Jesus, give the other guy a game.
No, I agree, but that's just how you are as a coach. You trust, you always pick a goalie of your favorite. You always have to, and you ride that guy more often than not, because especially when they're winning, like they kept winning games. So you throw the same guy in, like.
Yeah, like Talbot's been able to make the key saves. Like that's fine. Like it's fine that like that's how it goes. The team's set up to.
I know you're not discrediting Talbot by any means.
But like, geez, man, like when you play like that, like I don't think like he's not doing exponential. Clearly, like there was a small period I saw him playing really good.
Yeah.
Goaltending, but
last year's the best I've seen Cam Talbot play.
Last year was really awesome. So
it's a different team too. I think that's something that's happening, that like this team was slowly changing, and last year they had the perfect blend of defense and offense last year that we've ever seen probably. But because they were steering off of the defensive style of play they usually play that Minnesota had for how long do you think Minnesota was a defensive minded team? Like back before they had Gaborik?
Man. Like, yeah,
it would have been 10 years at least.
Like, even when Andrew Brunette was a wild way back in the day, man. They played,
the whole Mikko Koivu era was defensive minded.
It was,
I think we saw a bit of two systems colliding and just working properly. Similar. So that's the best way I can see it. And then this year they finally gotten rid of the defensive minded. Their defense jumps up a hell of a lot more. I think Goligoski's helped a lot with that too. And
and
they just let in
change the
their defense
like
plays
nobody
different.
On their defense has had any sort of offensive prowess
or
like
freedom.
Him,
yeah,
even the freedom to be that guy. Yeah, exactly. Even that. Like,
I wonder
really
what Matt Dumba would have been.
They're just like, holy shit, defenseman can do this. Like Goligoski has not been the greatest defensive defenseman, but
his whole career, though, right?
He is like the offensive defenseman. Like
he's been in the NHL for 10 to 15 years. Like,
and he knows how to put up points. And nobody on that team knows how to put up points on defense. Like, look at Matt Dumba. He's done it once and he forgot how to do that again.
But that's what I was about to say. Like, I wonder how much the system their system fucked Matt Dumba, because
exactly.
I know it's going in the right direction now, and we'll see. Maybe he can jumpstart something next year with a contract.
He looked really good in this game. He looked super stoked. He looked unbelievably stoked in this Winter Classic. It was fun.
Well, he's always been the guy that's on the bubble to be traded with this team, right? So he's really got to prove his worth.
It always doesn't sit very nice with me for some reason. Like, he just seems like a wild for life. I don't know why.
It never sits right with me, because why do you trade a top 4 right-hand defenseman who is an assistant captain, 27 years old, in the prime of his career, age-wise. Like, I know he's not putting up the points you expect, but you have Spurgeon. You don't really need him to put up all the points. Spurgeon's a pretty good offensive defenseman, and we've seen that this year.
And that's the other thing that's kind of sucked a little bit out of these guys is each other. Like, they've always kept a super, super good defenseman. Usually teams only keep like 3 of these guys, not 4, So
it's hard to keep 4 and give them all the minutes they want and deserve. Power play, PK as well.
Yeah, and actually produce.
Playing enough minutes. So, absolutely. Love this Minnesota team. Excited to see what they can do. Mainly excited for Thursday's game, though.
It's hard not to love them, right? It's the first time in a long time we've seen them be genuinely legit.
This is the first time in ever we've seen them be legit. I don't know if we've ever seen a Minnesota team actually be a cup contender with asterisks I'm putting, because they're not a cup contender, but they're the tier right below. They're a playoff contender. They could win a round or two easily.
Well, they might have switched the bases here and somehow put themselves in the playoffs now. Like, we're always wondering if they're going to make the playoffs every year. It seems like they go like they
this,
do. But like, if they can hold this, like, that's what I'm real interested to see, is how they can hold this throughout the season, because it's going to get
hard.
Like,
But I think I've seen enough that they're better than other teams that we'll steer into in a second, like Winnipeg. I think they're better. Yeah. I think they're way better than Winnipeg. Like Nashville's a surprise, obviously.
The downside with Minnesota for me is if their offense dries up like at all, they will lose by 1 in 4 games constantly.
Yeah,
or something.
they're gonna struggle if Kaprizov or Hartman or whatever can't get their offense continue.
But this is such a good team that I wonder if they can fall back to that defensive style if their offense isn't going, and they can hold those games a little bit better. Change your style because you're just not scoring constantly.
If they can turn a game the opposite way, then I'm willing to put them as my top 3 in the West.
Yeah, man, exactly.
Like maybe top 2. I would put them. I would honestly, if they can show they can easily switch into that defensive mode in games that are super tough, and offense don't matter, but they're solid like they always used to be, I will pick them. I will put money on them over Vegas.
I would, if they can pull what we're saying off, and they're shooing for 2 rounds, easy
at least, yeah. So. No.
Probably winning that second round, possibly.
No, for sure.
Depending who they're against, if it's a lights out McKinnon or if it's a lights out Vegas team or a St. Louis team, that could be
bully you through. There's a lot of good teams in the West. The West is even.
The West is pretty intense.
Pretty even because you don't want to play any team. Nashville's just annoying to play, and they have the UC Saros who. Is quietly been
play them this year. Hey,
quietly, Yusuf Saros has had the best 2021 of a goaltender, pretty much. Him or Vasilevsky, obviously, because Vasilevsky won everything. But Saros, since the second half of last year and the start of this year, has not been bad. So that's been pretty crazy.
He's been fantastic.
Elite. He's I can't believe with how much goalies we've talked about this year, because I feel like we talk about them every other week. At least someone on this guy's the best. This guy's the best. We forgot to bring him up enough times because we always love to talk about Demko and Markstrom in Canada, but so I think I might pick Saros. Right now, he's that good. So he's proven us all wrong.
Is absolutely unreal. Matt Duchene is back. Johansson's kind of back.
Tanner Jeannot is insane offensively for them.
I think I said this on a podcast before, but Kelly Yarncroke was holding this fucking team back, and now that he's gone,
just a podcast or two, Chase.
Just a podcast.
Just a podcast or two, casually, not since Seattle's picked him.
Holding this team back, and now that Trennan and Kunin and these guys are so good. Tolvanen making
Trennan's
making moves, and exactly that Jeannot is very very good.
And he's on
10 assists this year.
Why don't we talk about his contract for a second? We were just talking about how Ryan Hartman's on the best contract in the NHL. Tanner Jeannot's on a better contract than Michael Bunting. He's making $800K for 2 years, and Michael Bunting's making $900K.
Nice,
that's an amazing forward that you guys have on your belt, Nashville.
Played 24 minutes, got a goal and an assist against Colorado on the 16th of December, +3. Yeah.
He played 26 minutes.
24.
That's still ridiculous for a forward.
Yeah, and then the next game against Chicago, we played 22.
That's insane.
Holy shit, man.
He's always on the ice. Always. I love this guy. I remember watching him play for the Warriors as well a little bit, and he was dope there.
Nice, really?
Yeah, he was a Warrior for a year or two.
That's sick. Not Gene.
More than a year or two. Sorry, for 4 years he was a Moose Jaw Warrior.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he got 80. His last year, he got 80 points in 72 games, 40 goals. He's proved he can score at the semi-pro level at juniors. So I don't know why people think he can't do it. I mean, he is doing it. 20 points in 33 games. So no, I got nothing but good things to say about this Nashville team as well.
Forsberg 15 goals, Duchene 13, Yossi 11, Johansson 10, Jeannot 10. Got 5 guys with 10 goals in 30 games.
No, very good.
Wow.
This Central is not looking fun. Not looking fun for any team right now because, like we said, there's Winnipeg still there who struggled, not looked great, frankly.
I guess the other thing to
Dallas
point out,
is still there.
The other thing to point out with this Nashville team is their defense. Like that was a super good move. Like they always
Protecting
like what I was talking about with Minnesota, how they kind of like overload their defense.
Nashville's
I feel
done
like
that
that's
for years.
Exactly. Hey, so like that was a long overdue trades in my mind for Ellis. Like the reason it was long overdue is they never wanted to get rid of those three guys. But
and what they got in return is a question as well too, right? Like Cody Glass,
for sure,
is definitely
Philip Myers is definitely solid. He's been good. He's nothing major, but he can log some decent minutes.
Very big body.
Yeah, exactly.
Good playoff player. He's really good at clearing front of the net.
But what that trade did was that allowed like Carrier or
Carrier's dope.
Fabro and those types of guys to actually get some good minutes and stuff like that. So Frederick Allard and stuff like that. Like obviously they've played everybody this year because of COVID, but it's nice to see them bite the bullet and just be like trust all your prospects, trust all these guys. You got lots of guys, don't worry about it, like I know it sucks to lose Ellis or a Ekholm or somebody, but
they didn't lose Ekholm. They still locked in.
I'm just saying, like at the time they could have lost one of these guys or whatever, but like
could have lost both the direction we thought they were going.
No doubt.
But Jordan, do you have any games you'd like to talk about?
Yeah.
All right, why don't you kick them off? What games did you watch that you found interesting?
The big one was the Flames.
The Flames game.
Yeah, the Flames game against Chicago, where they shit on Chicago. quite frankly.
Yeah. They. Why don't you dive deeper into that game?
It just it reminded me the worst part about the Chicago team. They don't have their first round pick this year.
Yep. Yeah, they don't. That's in Columbus.
They're just painfully average, and
slightly
they
worse
need to
than
rebuild,
average,
but they're unable to do that now.
Yeah,
I think there's another team that doesn't have their first round pick who's not doing very well, and it's the Flyers.
Flyers, yeah.
Sick moves, guys.
It's the Flyers, Blackhawks. Montreal technically doesn't have one of their picks, but I forget how the Dvorak trade works. Is it their better of the first round picks that goes to Arizona, or the worse? Because I know one of them goes, but I don't know which. Because I know there's
a peek.
So that'd be cool if you could look at that. There's a lot of bad teams. But yeah, Chicago. Who was in net for Chicago? Was it Lankinen or Fleury?
Neither.
Neither? Who was in net?
It was Soderblom.
Soderblom. That's what it was.
Really?
Yeah. He actually wasn't bad, I remember. But
and he wasn't awful. Like, I mean, he faced a lot of shots.
Right.
But he did okay with them.
Now, before I kind of want to stay on Chicago for a second, so let's hit on Calgary. I know we've talked about them a lot. It's pretty much same old Calgary there, Jordan. Like, just dominate physical game.
Yeah, I mean,
defensively can't get broken down. Yeah.
He faced 30-some shots and he let in one.
Surprised they let him face 30, honestly, with how the defense has been playing.
And that's the only thing to note about Calgary is you can tell they're missing a top D man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they might go and get one before this window ends.
I wonder if they can win the cup if they get a D man. If they get a proper D man, I genuinely wonder about this team.
Chase Vegas.
So. They have everything they need to win it. If Gaudreau stays hot, he needs to keep playing the way he's played all year. And I questioned what Sutter could do nowadays, but I've never questioned him once he's gotten a hold of his team. Like, we saw those LA teams rip through teams, and they were an 8th seed one of those years. And they were demolishing teams because they had a hot goalie, and Sutter had a hold of their team.
And they played simple hockey, man.
Simple, hard
played
hockey.
Saskatchewan hockey.
Yep. First to the puck, F1, F2, F3, all those shit that you do properly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's all that. So this Calgary team's real good. Real good. Yeah. Is there any forwards?
Yeah, I feel like the biggest weapon on this team is the fact that Monahan's not doing well, and maybe they can
if they can utilize that cap space. Oh,
and because that's money. That's all of a sudden becoming like gold. You could you could get two.
You might be able to get a D-man and a depth forward for that. For that type of money. That they could make some magic. So I'm very intrigued to see what Calgary does at the deadline. Very intrigued.
Yeah, because you've waited and this is working. So now do you trust this? So
that's true.
We'll see how this management deals with that, because this is almost even a harder decision to make, saying I do trust this team and we will make these moves.
I think they're gonna make the moves, because what does True Living have to lose? He doesn't have years left on him. If Calgary has one big slip up, he's gone.
Shooting hard.
Yeah, he has to, because if Calgary slips up big in any which way, he's gone. He's the first one.
No, it is nothing but up right now for that team, or else it's
restart, or the GM gets replaced, and that team still may win. After a GM, how many times we see GMs or coaches get replaced, and then all of a sudden the team was built properly, just the wrong voice at the wrong time.
Yeah, right. A simple couple trades that didn't want to be made, or whatever.
Or that's my biggest fear with Calgary is because they're going all in. That's your biggest time to make a mistake. You're going for it. Yeah. And if you fuck up and give up a lot of good future prospects, whether they give up Zari, Peltier, a first, that's valuable assets, because they can be good long term.
Yeah, man. No, if you're going to make some trades, try to get something that'll help you for 2 years. Try
and get a guy with term for 2-3 years that's effective.
Yeah. Get that year and a half at least, get that run this year and all the next.
Mark Giordano.
Yeah,
honestly,
no doubt.
I would not be upset if they took him back. They are not allowed to retain him is the issue. So he would have to be
sent. Can go to Seattle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be a good trade. But you'd probably want him retained somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
If you can.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Use the extra money.
Retained. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Send Monahan. Make Seattle pay for the retention, because I think Monahan's more valuable to Seattle than Giordano would. And then
I don't think so.
And I do. Based on age. Yeah. See, I don't see Giordano coming back. I really don't. He might. Well. If anyone, I guess, he would. They give him the captaincy if he wants to play 2 more years and just lead a bad team.
Yeah, it depends on his money situation.
Where he wants to live.
Wants money.
Well, he can go anywhere he wants.
Gio had that unreal year.
Yeah, he won the Norris in 2018. Exactly. Was it 18 or 19?
It was either 18 or 19.
It was 18.
But the guy won the Norris.
Won the Norris when he was older than 35. That's the key to it as well. This isn't some 33-year-old who won it when he was 28. This is some guy who's done it better with age, as long as we remember. I want to quickly jump back to Chicago there for a minute, because I have a couple questions to you boys about the Blackhawks, and Jordan kind of nailed it right on the head. This team is very bang average because they have 4 absolute superstars, and then a couple prospects that are decent, and then a whole lot of nothing. And then
the most inconsistent players on the planet.
Yeah, honestly. The most inconsistent Strom, veterans in the world, and some of these young guys. Where do you go in a direction? And I know that's a bigger question to ask, but I'm saying, how drastic do you go, and which direction is it? So let's start off with the two. What do you guys think? Do you think they should full tank, unload everything, hold, or try and bulk up their team and see if they can get Kane and Taves another cup? What would you do? You have a hold of this team.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to have a direction in the next year to 2 years. Which way do you go? Because they got good prospects. I mean, they were giving them away a lot, but
to me, I'm not doing really much. I like a lot of the promise in the next couple of years, some years from some of these guys. These are perfect age dudes, 24, 23, 24, 22. These are all guys that even Kubalik, 26. That's pretty young yet. Like, you know, Strome, Hagel, Borgstrom, Henrik Borgstrom, they got from Florida. I really like him. He's playing first line center right now because they don't know what to do with their center situation. Because TJ's out. In all reality, we do have to realize they were really going to lean on TJ to at least play center somewhere at some point, you know. So
he was
that's kind of tough.
It's
a tough break for them, especially taking on that cap and him getting hurt. That's real weak sauce for them. But no, I love the direction. Like I said, those are perfect aged guys where in the next couple of years to 3-4 years, you're gonna start getting some really good years out of these guys. And if you can keep that going, I know Kane and Taze are gonna be waiting for a couple of years, but you're not gonna be the worst team in the league for the next couple of years or anything like that. I think you can get better as you go, and
interesting.
It's kind of a matter of getting this defense.
The defense is the number one
Lego brick click together. Once you can get that to click, that's gonna be you're gonna like. There's a reason they traded for Seth Jones because they're just like, yeah, this isn't working.
Yeah,
nothing's working. None of these guys
I agree with
the guys we needed them to turn into. We have to do something. So maybe they're going big UFA wise soon, but I'm not too worried.
I would not do that.
I'm not terribly worried, but like, there's definitely too many big holes to be like.
This isn't a small fix
about the next couple of years.
There isn't a small fix here. It's all big.
Like,
problems.
I don't know what your answer for your goaltending is. It's a kid if it is. So
it's new.
Good luck with that happening.
You try and sign someone new, I guess.
Exactly. Hey, but no, I don't feel that terrible. I'd screw around for a couple of years. And
all right.
Yeah. I think you'd start shooting up soon.
Yeah. Jordan, what would you do if you're Chicago's GM today?
That's the problem, right? Like, it's a tough position.
No, absolutely. Because any direction could be the wrong direction.
Exactly. I want to blow this team the fuck up.
I'm on your side.
But at the same time, the Seth Jones contract completely
ruins everything of this team.
I'd get that first round pick back. You have to get a first round. You got to trade Fleury. You got to do something. Whatever anybody wants to retain.
Edmonton's
first round pick.
Get Edmonton's first round pick at all costs this year for Fleury. I think that's the simplest trade.
If you have to give up an extra guy,
if you have to give up some, do it.
Man. That's a tough.
I think you sell key players on this team. I think you sell Patrick Kane. I think that's crazy to say. But the one thing Pittsburgh did that would always have conflicted me, but I would have understood that they never end up doing, was trade either Letang or Malkin.
Yeah, they did not do that.
They didn't do any of that. And for many years, I pondered why, because and Jordan actually will remember, I talked about this with the soccer player. If you guys know, I talked about David Silva in that way. Like, we should get rid of Silva, get the money back for him, and replace him so we can have more time to fix it, right? I don't know if you remember me telling you that, Jordan, but David Silva is one of the best pass to assisters, chance creators ever in the Premier League, one of top 10 at least. So it was hard to get rid of, and I understand that's your player. You grew him. He grew up with this team. He won cups with this team, championships, whatever the case is. When you're in mediocre, though, that's when all hell breaks loose in sports by your team. You're too good to get the low enough draft picks to get the real players that you want, unless you get lucky in our Tampa Bay and hit Braden Point in the third round. Like, it doesn't happen often. So I think you can get a king's ransom for Patrick Kane. You do a small rebuild for a year or two. Try and not be great. Try and progress these young guys. Give them minutes. Try and fix the holes as best you can with... If it has to be filler players, it's filler players. But you do what you can. You use those assets to build your team to be good again for another 5-10 years after your tiny rebuild. That's the best direction I see you going with this team. Right? Yeah. You need... Plus, with the scandal and Kane and Taves being there, is it just me or does it kind of feel like it's time to just... It would be better for the face of the franchise to move on and have no new faces. Right? That's where my mind comes in with it. I think there's still a sour taste when you watch Taves on the ice, when you see Kane.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I think if you want to wipe the slate clean and start over, you get as much as you can for those guys at any point and do a small rebuild.
Yeah.
And hope Doc and these guys kind of step up more. And if they don't, hopefully you're bad enough that you draft a Bedard, Shane Wright, Brad Lambert, even if you want to go deeper in the draft, right?
Yeah, they've still got DeBrincat, right? So.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. DeBrincat's unreal.
24 years old.
That's the guy you build around, in my eyes. Like, DeBrincat's the guy you build around, him and Doc. And you do whatever you can to make Seth Jones better, because you're stuck with that now. You are stuck with Seth Jones for eternity. So that's the best.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like that.
For
like,
bad, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not the worst thing to do. There's there's two ways to go. You do trade either both of those guys, or
I think you
kind of fumble around. And
I feel like you can't settle on one. I feel like before their contract's up, you have to trade both if you trade one. Because then you're all in. You can't half commit to the rebuild and then all of a sudden... Like, if Pittsburgh traded Letang, let's say, or Malkin for a first-round pick and a prospect, and they're not ready yet, I would want them to dig deeper into Letang and trade him to, or Malkin and trade him to, get more picks, then speed up the rebuild with young guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would prefer to see if that were to happen, and they didn't trade them. So I'm kind of happy we have all of them. You either want all or none, frankly, in those scenarios.
Yeah, fully agree. Yeah, no, if they're going to trade one of them, you trade both of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You move on.
So,
and that would give you a major boost prospect-wise, and that would be able to get you...
And their first-round pick back this year. Like, there's so many key things you can get out of these next two drafts are going to be crazy. Even Chicago can get a top 10 pick or a top 15 and get one of those two right-handed defensemen from either Jurček or Nemec. That goes so many years forward. Having a veteran like Seth Jones and a young right-hand guy as your 1-2 could be really good for the future. So that's what my main goal if you're Chicago. Get a top 15 pick.
They're in like sort of a Rangers-esque situation. I said, you can kind of go that route where you trade your captain and your big guys and Taves and Kane and then move on from there. And it'll only take a few years, and you'll get
the Rangers now.
Yeah, you'll.
They had some help, obviously, though, with Adam Fox, like wanting and pledging to be a Ranger. Zibanejad kind of jumping everywhere. Yeah, obviously laughs lottery ball. Like they hit a lot, but Chicago also did hit on a Kirby Dack at 3rd overall when we thought Chicago was still good enough to be a playoff team. So they should lean into that a little bit. So I don't know. I think this team is in trouble if they don't do something in the next year. They got a year. They got till next trade deadline to figure it out, or else I would be very scared to be a Blackhawks fan. Because I don't if they're mediocre and miss and Kane's contract's up and you didn't trade him, he's not coming back.
No.
Kane will go for a cup. Taves, he's got no reason to stay there. Stan Bowman's the reason he got that deal and everything, and he credits pretty much his career to Stan Bowman. Like, we heard him say it. Why would he stay loyal to Chicago when they're bad? He's already pissed off they're losing. So I don't see a scenario where this goes well And that's also why you trade these two away. That I just feel like if they have a chance to scapegoat, they will scapegoat. That's my biggest fear for Hawks fans. So, but no. Anyways, I'm gonna jump into quickly the game I watched last night. I had two, but we've been talking about games for over an hour now, so I'm gonna just close out with the Penguins game. And
real quick before we jump over there, that Seth Jones deal, was that a lottery? Yeah, lottery protected.
Yes,
first
it was
round
top
pick.
2 protected.
Being a top 2 protected.
So, and they're not probably getting top 2. They're probably getting 5th.
Probably
overall.
not, unless they win it.
Yep. And they're probably
That's
getting
funny.
4th, 5th, 6th type overall, and they're gonna miss out on that player, which is
should have been a top.
That
10,
can be like a Yurov or a Brad Lambert or maybe Miroshichenko drops. Like you never.
Jesus,
that's insane. So
tough break.
It's a very tough
go
break.
ahead.
I just want to talk about the Penguins game because coming into this game, I was a little nervous, not because of who we were playing, just I heard a lot of podcasts talking about this break is going to screw a lot of people up, and people who are on heaters are not going to be on heaters because it's how they work. You stop a streak and stop the momentum and you don't get it. So Pittsburgh was on a 7-game win streak, so I was a little nervous, like, oh, we might get worked by the Sharks here. Complete opposite in the first 5 minutes, as it was 4-0 for Pittsburgh 6 minutes in. Evan Rodriguez had 2. Brian Rust sniped 1. Like, everyone was kind of coming back today. Like, Gensel and Rust were back. First game in, like, many, many weeks. Gensel scores. Like, I'm like, oh my god, this team is the best. Like, I'm just sitting there, the happiest person, clicking my heels together, dancing away. Like, this team, we're working the Sharks.
After that game, he's like, oh yeah, Ben.
I'm like the first period, I'm like, this fucking team, man, is legit. And DeSmith hasn't shit the bed yet, but hasn't is a key word. As second period, we pretty well dominate. San Jose had a very good period. They started fighting back, and then randomly in the second period, who but comes in? In the third period, Zach Sachenko. You guys remember Zach Sachenko?
Vaguely. I've heard his name a few times.
Zach Sachenko was a Moose Jaw Warriors goaltender who left early to go to college in Canada. Well, he went to University of Alberta, I believe, and that is not the smartest way to go for hockey. No. Very few players make it out of that. I heard Joel Ward's name is one that made it out of PEI college and made it to the NHL.
Nice.
So a couple guys have made it, but it's very rare. And
it's not the traditional way.
Not the traditional way. Anyways, he gets his NHL debut, and I was like, oh my god. It took me back being a child, being like, however old I would have been, like 12, 13 when he was in net, going to the conference finals against Edmonton Oil Kings or something like that. He was around that time, maybe it was after, but still, just flashback, and he was fucking brilliant.
Yeah, he was brilliant.
He was outstanding. I was so happy. I haven't been happier to see Penguins get stoned by a goalie since earlier this year against Buffalo when Tokarski was doing it. Like, I genuinely was so happy for Sachenko. He was calm. He was making great save after great save because Pittsburgh didn't stop. Because San Jose's defense, oh boy. We talk about LA's defense being a problem. Jesus Christ. San Jose that's the position they work on fixing now in this rebuild. Like, we talked about their direction and having none. I have it. Go for defense because... like Ferrero's the only one I've liked this year, and he's out currently.
Yeah, like how do you fix that defense, man? It's such a
draft
goddamn mess. Like, you got Carlson, Burns, and Pickles just taking up all this room. Like,
you focus the draft on defense and work that angle. Like, we know San Jose's are far away, and like they got pumped defensively by Pittsburgh, but like that's not like a shocking thing to see. They're 18th in the league. They're having a good season by all accounts. We thought they'd be bottom 5. So I don't think you have to worry too much, but long term, yeah, that defense needs a lot of work. But their offense didn't stop. Thomas Hertl is terrifying. If someone gets him at the deadline, well, that team is really in for a treat. He's everywhere. Logan Couture is still very good hockey player. Alexander Barabanov was pleasantly surprised by. I know he was a Leaf who couldn't even get minutes there, and he's playing top line with Logan Couture and kind of killing it. So I like to see him. Who else on the San Jose team? I like the San Jose team, but they came in waves in that third period. Almost came back. It was, I believe it was 6-5 at one point. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, if we lose this game. Third period, Rhylan was not the same as first period Rhylan. Let's put it that way. I was screaming at our defense and DeSmith to get out of their ass and start. The game wasn't over yet. And it wasn't anything of like, oh, this team's going to be a choking team, and I'm worried about that. They just gave up. They said, oh, 4-0, cakewalk, and then couldn't score on Zinchenko. And we're like, oh, fuck. We let off too much. And they finally stepped in and got a couple empty netters, some key guys who had some great games. Brian Rust and Evan Rodriguez both got a hat trick. Love to say.
Evan Rodriguez was fantastic.
Yeah, he's been so good this year. Jake Gensel scored his first game back, 13 goals in 13 games. He was out with injury for a couple of weeks, so technically the streak ends. I think that's stupid, by the way. Do you guys think that's dumb?
13 goals for Evan Rodriguez? You said
no,
that
Gensel.
No, I'm just saying Rodriguez has 13 goals this year.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about Gensel has 13 goals in 13 games.
Wow.
But his streak technically ends because he was injured and missed a couple games in between goal 12 and 13. Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Wow, that's fucking
yeah,
dumb.
So, and they did it for Eichel a couple, I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago. Remember when Eichel had like a 16-game point streak or something and was killing it?
Mm-hmm,
and Buffalo, and like carrying Buffalo, and then he got hurt. And then they canceled his point streak. I think that's the dumbest thing, because it's still a point streak. Yeah, it's exactly. In as many games, right? It's the same as the stat.
It's a personal streak.
It's a personal streak. It's not a team streak. So, I think that's stupid, but that's a whole other of itself. Pittsburgh was great offensively. Defense was really good up into a point until they just started pinching a lot and kind of leaving DeSmith a little out to dry. DeSmith not great. He was better than most nights, which says a lot because he led in 5 goals. I don't know.
I was telling my buddy how shitty DeSmith is. I was like, I'd rather pay Tokarski $2 million.
I would rather pay Tokarski $2 million. I'd rather pay Tokarski $4 million than have DeSmith almost. Like, he's that bad. It hurts me to say because he's a Penguin, and I never want to root against anyone who wears a Penguin. Like, I cheered for fucking Cody Ceci like last year, all year. Matheson, I'm still cheering for it. He irritates me more than anyone.
Yeah,
but DeSmith is just that guy where I'm like, please upgrade him. Like, just please.
Yeah. Like, do it for Jari.
Do it for Jari. He's going to get burnt out and we're going to lose. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Like, that's kind of what that's what we said happened last year. We're all just going to pretend like it's just not a thing or what?
Yeah,
like,
and that's what baffles me. Everyone's like, oh, Jari just can't take the pressure. Excuse me?
Just can't take the pressure in the playoffs.
He has the best stats as a goalie right now, I'm pretty sure. Last I checked, he was top 3 goaltending stats in the NHL
the guy goes
with how much he plays.
Yeah, he goes into every year thinking he has to probably play 82 games. Like, that probably takes a good toll on a guy.
At least 82. Somehow it ended up paying 90.
There's a reason you guys kept 2 goalies for like 2-3 years there, because you were just like, I want 2 goalies. I want one.
Tristan Jarry is 3rd in goals against, or 4th technically, but Charlie Lindgren's there, and he hasn't played enough games to He's played more than 3.
Yeah, he played that 5-game stretch or something
and
with
like
the Blues
was to the
just
best.
lit it up.
So he's the best, but that doesn't count. So it's Jack Campbell, Anderson, and Jari. He has a better save percentage than Markstrom. Or goals against than Markstrom. And Shesterkin.
Wow, goals against.
Yeah. Save percentage, he is 4th. But there's also, or 5th, sorry, but there's also Lindgren and Tarasov who are in there for save percentage, and they haven't played many games.
That's nothing.
And that's
did you see that
Shesterkin and Campbell. Helmet? Yeah, I did.
Got like that bug on his helmet.
Yeah.
Oh man,
love it.
So sick.
The Blue Jackets bug or whatever. Love it. It's so cool. But yeah, Jari currently has a better save percentage at a .932 as well than Markstrom. So like, I don't know. He's been so good. Can't burn him out. It's my biggest fear for Pittsburgh. Just get a goalie. I don't care if like we lose Zucker and get a goalie. Like that I'd be game. We didn't play with Zucker last night. Now it's actually I completely forgot he was a Penguin. So I guess I wouldn't be too upset if we got rid of him.
Like I said, man, the moment somebody offers you anything for Zucker, you accept that deal and you run away because
I love Zucker man.
I love him so much, but he was hurt for 2 years, and now it's you just try to get out of this.
Look, I know
you put on a fake face and say you love him, and he's just the greatest until somebody gives you anything, and you just run away.
He is the greatest. I love everything he brings except for the $4 million contract.
I think it's 5.5. So yeah.
Well, okay, even worse. Like 5.5 is even worse. Like, it sucks. That's so tough.
He's got to be
so
like that's
tough.
why he's been my guy that I've always put on your trade block thing. Like it's guaranteed.
I agree.
I'd be trading him as soon as possible.
He is a modified no move clause, which makes it hard. He's got 10 teams he can't get traded to. It's he does all the little things right.
Minnesota, man, that'd be kind of cool.
I don't think Minnesota would take him.
They probably wouldn't.
Don't think so.
They're only
they don't need cap. Like honestly, a team that I think could use someone like that and can afford him, like Anaheim. Anaheim would love a Zucker, just a guy who works constantly for the young guys. Gets those pucks out for Zegras and McTavish in the future. That wouldn't be bad, and they have enough money to pay him 5.5. So.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he should be easy enough to trade. Like I'm making it sound like you have to just
we don't
be
have
quiet
to give anything.
I
would never give anything up for Zucker. Like I wouldn't give up a sweetener to get rid of him. But if someone said we'll give you a 7th round pick and take all $5.5 million, I would ponder it.
Exactly, and I think he's got enough value.
Yeah,
that you guys aren't in that situation.
I think we could get a third
I feel like
from him at least.
I feel like this was exactly.
Maybe a roster, maybe another roster player is not like a great contract, but like cheaper, like $2.5 million type of guy who's playing 4th line, 3rd line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, it's got to happen. Get that goalie, man. Might as well.
I want it. I want Korpisalo, man. I want that Korpisalo. I'll trade fucking Russ Zucker to.
Exactly.
For Corpy, that'd be dope.
Yeah, and then you can get.
They have Tarasov anyways. They don't need a goalie.
You can get some retained Domi in there. But,
yeah, man, that would be all right. Would be all right. I'd probably want someone else. I'd probably want someone else on Columbus. That's just like
Patrick
a third.
Laine.
yeah, I would love Patrick Laine. I would probably, I'd probably want to just steal like a depth guy that's pretty decent on this team if I could.
Roslovic would play good on
Roslovic would be pretty good.
A better Rodriguez, maybe.
Could be like our new Jared McCann, down low, 3rd line, just man the 3rd line with like Carter.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Compliment Carter quite well.
I would take that. I would take a Robinson wouldn't be too bad, but that's 1.6 is it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Maybe a D-man. Yeah. Maybe I'd take what about like if I could steal like a Kukin?
Nab the
Dean Kukin. He's a good depth guy. But no, anyways, I kind of ranted on Pittsburgh. The game was great. We played awesome. We were very complacent late, but we got the win. Sachenko played awesome. all in all, good day for hockey for me the other day.
Just 8-5.
Yeah, let's 8-5, crazy game. Let's jump into Chase. You want to talk about the Edmonton Oilers, and everyone is panicking about the Oilers right now. Let's talk about how everyone and their dog is going insane.
Let's reverse like at the first start.
Can we pump the brakes? Let's pump the fucking brakes real hard here with Edmonton.
Yeah, let's do a reminder from what happened with Toronto not that so long ago. Like it's the situation we're in here. There's COVID going on. There's guys hurt.
Your goalie sucked.
Darnell Nurse. You didn't have Darnell Nurse, the one defenseman that's actually trustworthy on your team.
Yeah,
you didn't have
one of your few.
The
really
whole COVID break thing, 10 days or whatever. Like
Koskinen has been the worst goalie. Like I said, he is again. Like
Koskinen's been Koskinen.
Man, like I hate this. I hate him. I hate Koskinen. Nothing.
I hate him on that team.
I hate him as an NHL goalie because he is the most inconsistent asshole. Because he always makes me have to defend myself. I'm like, he's shit. Oh, good 10-game win streak, 9 point.
Okay, so this
4 save percentage.
This team's another one of those teams like Minnesota where we're letting in 3-4 goals every game. That's just how we're gonna play.
But we have McDavid, so we'll score more.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like it's funny because it seems like whenever the defense gives up a goal or Koskinen gives up, it's like they go back and forth with each other. It's just insane. Like we'll just give up terrible opportunities, and you're not gonna let that in, and then 10 minutes later, Koskinen just lets in some other random super bad goal.
It's just like
you guys are just going back and forth. It's like a disease.
What the hell has Koskinen been doing these last couple days with the flopping?
Oh my god! Yeah,
have you guys seen
the guy in the net? Yeah, the Ranger.
Flopping.
Yeah, the Ranger in the net. He was trapping a New York Ranger in the net. The Ranger cross-checked him in the ass, which I think is totally fair game. That's totally fair game. He didn't hit him that hard, and he wanted out of the net.
Yeah, he just pushed him.
He pushed him, and he dropped like a sack of potatoes. Talk about that pizza he gave up.
6'7"?
6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 6'7", yeah.
After a tiny cross check won't knock him on his ass.
We can talk about the flops he's doing. We can talk about that pizza he gave to Laugh. The goal he just gave him. Said, here, I don't want the puck behind the net anyways, and gives it to whoever number 15 is on the Rangers.
I never did look again. I wanted to check, was that like the Zamboni corner or something like that? Because like the puck just died, and he's
and he just watched it.
I'm out here. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and then I think it was either like McKegg or like someone or Julian Gunther beats him to the puck, wins it, throws it in front. Lafreniere just. Two games in a row, Lafreniere has had an open net goal because Vasilevsky fucked up, or Elliott, fucked up the other night.
And
now Koskinen. So, but back to
I really hope that changes the whole actual being able to handle a puck. Like these goalies got to be way better at this.
Yes, well, we've seen how much better they are already. These young guys,
they need a better awareness just in the game, like the defensive game. Like it seems like Koskinen doesn't know hockey that well, but
he's also didn't make the NHL till he was 30, 31, right? Like we're talking about a goalie who 5 years ago nobody knew existed in the hockey world. And now he's the starting goalie of the team that has the best player in the hockey league.
And it's pretty safe to say that this Mike Smith thing isn't working this year. Like
he's good. He's been good, but he's hurt. He can't stay healthy, and we called it.
Has not been healthy at all. So.
And the protocol stuff doesn't help. Frankly, it doesn't help. With everyone's team, frankly, we know that everyone's being punished with having not good enough players. You already have a goaltending that's like, if this holds 4. We're good. But if it doesn't, we're fucked. Well, guess guess what? If you don't fix your goaltending, what people are saying makes sense. What people are saying makes sense, but it's what we've been saying all year. This is a very good hockey team. This is a very, very good hockey team. Their offense is awesome. I know a couple guys maybe haven't done as good as we expected. Like Yamamoto, we expect to see a lot more.
But a guy
Fogle,
like Ryan
I think
McLeod is doing very good. Like
Derek Ryan.
He's not in the AHL.
Nope.
He's not in the AHL, guys. He stayed a year and he's been playing the whole year.
Yeah, Derek Ryan's been okay. Hit or miss here and
helpful.
There. He's been helpful at least. Zach Hyman, obviously, we know how good he has been as an ad. He slowed down a little bit, but do we really expect Zach Hyman to go and score 40 goals with the Oilers? Like,
yeah, exactly.
We know what Zach Hyman is.
Power play percentage.
Yeah, exactly. So, they fix the goaltending though, man. Like, how long have we been saying it? All three of us.
Yeah, it's
since this podcast started.
3 years.
What's that? Sorry, what'd you say, Jason?
I said this has been the story with this team for like 2-3 years now.
Oh,
ever since they got Koskinen,
It won't work with the goaltending. I'm fine with Mike Smith being one of your goalies.
I feel like
you have a good third goalie.
I really love this signing in a sense. Now, the whole Koskinen signing, because I feel like this was a big saving grace for this team and organization.
Because it forces them to have cap space for a goalie.
It forces them to look at goaltending differently instead of they just eat guys up if you don't do good, and if you do good in 1 year and then you're not that guy again, they just eat you up and they don't want you anymore, and it's just over for that guy. They did it to Cam Talbot, they've done it to Dubnyk. They don't know how to handle this organization, this fan base. They don't know how to handle goalies seemingly. And I really like that this signing happened now, because they're all just completely just disgruntled about this stuff, and they just can't stand having Koskinen. And I just love it because it's perfect, because you guys need to realize what goaltending truly is. Like, you don't need just some insanely stellar guy.
You're gonna have slumps. Every guy, you never get mad at your forwards. You never get mad at your forwards when they go for 3 games and disappear. Hey. Why is it different for a goaltender? That's 100% fair.
I love the perspective it's putting on their goaltending, because now they'll be okay with getting somebody who's all right. And I think they might, I think the fan base will understand a little bit more. I think they'll understand patience. That's for sure. Because you just never seem to have patience with your goaltending. And it might be why your goaltending is always just such a disarray,
Yep, that's true.
But they need to make a move. They have to do it this year. I'm done with this shit. Make a move. You should be doing it in the next month or two, once COVID kind of starts kicking down a little bit or something.
Yeah, Fleury is your guy right now. If you want a short-term option for this playoffs and not disappoint your fans and win a round, and you get Fleury, right?
Maybe that's why Chicago didn't retain money on Keith, because it was a 2-year deal, and in all reality, we will retain Fleury at half for you
1 year.
If we don't, if this doesn't go well for us, if we have a bad year, so if that continues to trend like that, then maybe they got at least a half side deal there going.
Yeah.
Because
my thought is I don't see why Fleury wouldn't go to Edmonton for half a year. He knows it's going to be hell there, but he has to play Connor McDavid. They're probably a playoff team.
And Pittsburgh's not doing it. They're not trading.
Pittsburgh don't have the cap space. The only way we get Fleury, and we might get Fleury in the offseason. I would not be shocked if we signed him on a 2-year, $2 million deal and said, be our backup, stay home.
But it's just dumb for Fleury not to go to Edmonton. There's a glaring hole on this team.
You get half a season.
Take it.
All you gotta do is play good for half a year, and you might be able to win a cup with the team.
Yeah, dog. Do you still want to win a cup? Because if you do, this is the place. 100% the place to go.
This is his last.
The only team that needs
This is Fleury's last chance as a starting goalie to win a cup, probably. If he goes to Edmonton.
Crosby, who better next than McDavid?
Yeah, you get to play at the 2 as a goaltender. You get to watch from the other end 2 of the best players of each generation.
Yeah, front row.
You played in front row. You can't miss that.
Though I'm not gonna lie, he'll be probably like the least impressive looking goalie. Like,
Oh yeah.
like what's he gonna? Is he gonna wear orange pads? He'll have to pop something off if he goes to Edmonton because he always looks awesome everywhere he goes.
True.
Sick mask and everything. Edmonton just has no pop. It's gonna have to be those. I guess those. I love Mike Smith's setup with that orange and blue, dark blue jerseys.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Like. The first game that they showed those off or had those was the Wings game, and I went to that game. Man, like his pad setup was so sick, so sick. I love that. Love that man. Blue and that orange together. Looks so awesome.
Like the orange outsides. Are you talking about? Like of the pads.
Yeah, like I don't know. I think they were kind of like crosses or went kind of across. There was a decent amount of orange. I don't know. It was
okay. Yeah. I think I'm looking at the one you're talking about, but no.
Yeah, like they're alternate ones. They're alternate jerseys.
Yeah, for sure.
Dark blue and orange.
To address everyone on Twitter losing their fucking shit on the Oilers, though, cool it. Take a breather. Your offense is still amazing. Your defense is good enough. I would still like to see more work on it done, but I think this defense is good enough to make playoffs. This defense. Is it good enough to win the playoffs? No, but don't force it. You're gonna have Keith's money in a year and a half. Like you can use that to upgrade.
You're trying to make Bouchard into a real defenseman. Just
wait.
Look at your defense.
See that plan.
Say that.
See out that plan, and it will go a long way. Having Bouchard, and then next year you bring up Broberg. As long as he deserves it, I presume he should be ready next year to.
He should be.
To play some games. Okay he's looked okay in the A, and so that's what I say. You bring him up next year, and that's what you work on your left side. Teach him to be the next Duncan Keith, if you can. And no, fix your goaltending. That's if all they did was fix their goaltending. Same as Pittsburgh. All they do is fix their goaltending. I will have so much more faith in this team than I did yesterday. And I think that's why people are freaking. If Ken Holland is a good GM, he will make sure it gets dealt with. He tried to deal with it for 2 years now, and that's something that nobody's talking about enough. Like, they almost got Markstrom. They were the other team. If Calgary offers any less money, Markstrom is an Oiler. I'm pretty sure the only reason they went to Calgary is because he got the extra year. Last year, they were all in on that Kemper trade until Colorado beat them to it.
Yeah.
Like, all in. That was an... Kemper was an Oiler.
First time I thought the Oilers were being smart.
Yeah, the Kemper was an Oiler for a minute this past offseason. They've tried, and I don't want to, like, shit on them for not enough. Like, we already shit on them so much for their goaltending. They did try. Now they need to do it, though. Until it's done, this team will not go anywhere. That's what's holding you back.
Flurry.
Get that Flurry this year. Man. He's the only fix this year. Until the offseason and you can see other options, he's the fix. He's the instantaneous fix. So, no,
because your best goalie has been Stuart Skinner this year.
Yeah, and that's someone who I think you look at being your guy next year as a backup for sure. Like your full-time backup is Stuart Skinner, and
and if you got Fleury at the helm, which should do
if you end up keeping Fleury, then maybe like there's options there, or if you sign someone else, just Skinner needs to play.
Yeah, you do have Smith again next year.
Yeah, I guess Smith will. Then you do Skinner as your third and your second goalie with Smith type thing, and they go back and forth. When Smith's hurt, Skinner's your guy. But anyways, that's all I got on the Oilers. I just want to tell people to calm the hell down. Because it's ridiculous.
And if they're like they need to give Bouchard this good year.
He's playing good. He's playing great. Don't know why people are freaking out. Like he's gonna have games where he's shitty. He's a fucking young player.
Yeah,
very
and
young
also
defenseman.
Tyson Barrie is a patch, like 100% a patch.
Tyson Barrie is an awful defenseman, but he's a great offensive defenseman. He's probably the best offensive defenseman in the NHL, arguably, because he's basically just a third winger. Like, he's more of a third winger than Cale Makar and Adam Fox are. All he thinks is offense, which is, it's effective if you use it right. Good Carolina and Tony DeAngelo. So
this team's getting there. Just have patience. Don't do what Toronto and a lot of these teams do. Just
absolutely
spend so much just to try to have good experience in the playoffs.
Yeah, don't
and then don't get it. Like,
yeah, in this case, getting Fleury, you spend whatever's necessary to make that run.
That's a ploy trying to get him to stay here for sure.
Yeah,
for at least
trying to get him to stay
right?
a year or two would be the real goal.
And let's be serious, it can't cost very much. It's going to cost you whatever it costs to retain.
It'll be $4 million.
That would be it.
Yeah, it'll be $3 to $4 million for Fleury if he wants another contract. So.
But to actually like pay for the trade or whatever, like it's only going to be paying for the retained salary because seemingly he wasn't worth anything.
Now Chicago will make sure they get a first or second out of him. I think that was Vegas.
Right?
I think that was that trade. Yeah, that trade was just Vegas saying we desperately need the cap space, right? Like that was Vegas saying we're gonna get Eichel, and then it paused for 5 months. So, speaking of Eichel, let's go over to Buffalo and talk about them for a second, because guess who played his first game and also already has his first goal as a Buffalo Sabre? No other than Alex Tuch, the Buffalo native.
Yeah, buddy. It looks good in that uni.
Love it. I love it. I'm so happy.
Power play goal, I believe, as well.
Yeah, right in front too.
Sabres is definitely feeling at home in Buffalo, and it's awesome to see.
That's exactly what they needed. They needed a guy who wanted to be there. That is all they asked for in the trade. That's why that trade went through. Speaking of which, we didn't even talk about on the podcast. We'll talk about it in a bit because I'll use the transition to Anaheim. Do you guys have anything on Buffalo?
I guess I've said it a lot, but I'm just so excited for the future of this team. I like the second half of this team. I thought they were going to be like the worst team this year in the bottom two, and all I've seen is nothing but positivity as the year has rolled on. Obviously, there's been a lot of negativity of losing, but no, I'm so
can't go really down from here.
Yeah, man, Tuch being here is. I think this is going to be awesome.
Jack Quinn and Krebs can play some games this tail end of the year and show their worth. That would be crazy as well. So
yeah, if Mitz could play more than 4 games
at a time,
nice. that would be great. But no, I want this team healthy. I want to see what happens because I love it, and I love Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen just lighting it up back there. That's so awesome. It's exactly what I talk about when it comes to goaltending. Like, just play these guys. Oh, he's playing so bad in the AHL. We can't play him. And you put him up here, and he's just one of the best goalies in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's
been so
actual
good.
Hockey play. He's been like probably a top 3 star. And it's been pretty unreal, man. So
top 3 goalie this past week.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Nope, looking good in Buffalo. Cool. I'm gonna move off and let's transition it with. So we know how the Eichel trade went down. Did you guys hear what Buffalo asked Anaheim for?
Yeah, that was insane.
Like way too much. Like not even close. Like I don't think the two best things they asked from Anaheim were better than everything Buffalo got for Eichel. Like Zegras and Drysdale, you want context, obviously. Buffalo asked Anaheim for straight up for Eichel. They wanted Zegras, Jamie Drysdale, a first round pick this year, and a first round pick next year.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
Thank God.
I mean, that's the first offer. I don't blame them, but
I get that's the first offer, but you are stupid if you think that's fair. Like, if Anaheim even contemplated that, I would want that GM fired. That's one where you hang up before they even finish the trade offer. As soon as he says Zegras and Drysdale, I hang up the phone. I would give one of those guys for Eichel, not both.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Maybe one. And even at one, I looked at like, ooh, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't love to move Zegras or Drysdale. So I just want to talk about crazy that is while leading into Anaheim. As why we're saying that is such a bad trade, because Zegras is just won Rookie of the Month. He, I believe, in 9 games, he has 9 assists and 2 goals. Pretty good month for Zegras. Do you guys have, while we're on Anaheim, and I touched noted on him, do you guys have anything to add with Anaheim? I got a little bit, but I'll throw it to you guys first.
No, not really.
All right. I want to talk about their defense really quick. Not for long, just for a second. And how amazing this Anaheim team is through their defense and goaltending. Cam Fowler came back last game. I watched the game against Anaheim versus Tampa. Or was it Tampa? I don't know if it was Tampa. I watched Anaheim play someone, and I think it was Tampa Bay, it was Colorado. It was Colorado, sorry. And Cam Fowler came back, and oh my god, he was brilliant. This team is one of the best jump rush defense I've seen in the NHL. I think the reason I'm so drawn to Anaheim is because they play a lot like Pittsburgh. They push their D-men forward a lot. They're not quite as aggressive, but it's the same type of flow. And I just wanted to commend how good Hampus Lindholm and Cam Fowler are for this team, and they've held on strong to these guys for years of pain.
They compare a lot to like Minnesota's defense, where they just kept these guys, and they're just like, you know what? How about no?
How about we don't get rid of them? How about Josh Manson turns into our future captain? How about Cam Fowler is still an elite puck-moving defenseman? Hampus Lindholm is the type of left-hand defenseman everyone wants on their second pair.
Like, I bet the situation that GM's in is basically asking people what they would do for trades here, and they give them like a first-round pick and a third-round pick, and that's it, or like a first-round pick and some guy.
A start. It's a first-round pick to start,
and it's just like, that's
yep.
Like, this guy's worth more than that. Like,
like that's if for any of these 3 guys, it starts with a first-round pick for me. Watching them play, Manson is too critical to this team. The way he plays, he's really good at both sides of the puck. Like, and he's right-handed. Like, he's just perfect and plays so well with Fowler. Fowler's been your guy.
This defense is why they sucked last year and not why they were good last year.
No, exactly.
It's not why they're good this year. It's why they sucked last year, because they weren't there last year.
And you know what? I am willing to blame their forwards for last year. Their defense couldn't create enough, or were creating enough, but the forwards weren't putting the puck in enough. Yeah, so it would turn around.
Injuries and just nothing.
That too. Right, injuries didn't help. When you don't score, you're not going to win. And if the defensemen are busy trying to create offense, they're liable to defense. Look at Team Canada. Like the first game against Czechs. That's the best example of recent. So, I just want to bring up their defense, Anaheim, because watching them play against Colorado, they were right there with Colorado to the very end. They didn't end up winning. But
just Isaac Lundstrom being super epic.
Yeah, he's super dope too. Playing really good games. Moving forward, let's talk about the Florida Panthers really quick. I only got a little bit on them, but Sam Bennett has been suspended for 3 games. It was for a head hit to Cedric Paquette right in the Montreal slot. Watched it a couple times, different angles. 3 games might have been a little harsh, but I think it's because of him being suspended last playoffs for the head hit. Or was it head hit or hit from behind, Sam Bennett's suspension against Tampa?
I want to say it was from behind. I don't remember.
Might have been from behind. I can't remember because there's 2 hits that were really dirty in that same day that happened, or within the same days.
Check to the head.
Check to the head? Okay, so he got suspended for the same thing here. 3 games of Paquette. It was bad, but it wasn't like egregious. It wasn't like Connolly's interference on Caro or anything like that, but I think 3 games is probably fair based on a repeat offender, all that stuff they add to it, right? So I wanted to talk about that. Florida Panthers now. I'm going to group them in with 2 other teams because you can't talk about one of these teams without talking about all 3. And let's talk about that Atlantic trio really quick in Tampa, Florida, and Toronto. Oh boy, we talked about a little bit how the Central is rough this year, and it's very hard to get out. This is the worst of it, isn't it? First 2 rounds, one of these teams has to play both to get out. Unless a miracle happens and the wild card beats the number 1 Atlantic team, whoever it may be.
At the start of the year, I had almost 4 teams in the Atlantic in the top 10, and actually Boston 4 in the top 11, which was crazy. And I had Boston up there, which I don't now, but I have Florida, Tampa, and Toronto in the top 9. I have Toronto in 9th right now. So
I might have these guys higher than that in the league, which is even crazy enough to say. 9 itself is still high.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, I got Florida 1, Tampa 4, Toronto 9. I guess the other one is the Central. I got Colorado at 2, Winnipeg 6, Minnesota 7. So that's
pretty good too. But just this Atlantic, they're all similar in a way. They're very offensive driven teams, all 3. Different, but
very fast teams.
Very fast teams.
Stellar goaltending,
right? Yeah, clearly this year. I genuinely, if I was thinking of betting money on every series going to playoffs, this Atlantic division stresses me the hell out. I don't know who to pick. The safe option is say, Toronto's going to lose because Toronto always loses.
Yeah, it's always
right?
Toronto.
It always seems that way. They got to win at some point, Toronto. I know it's going to be until they do it, they haven't done it. And I agree with that. Yeah. I agree with that standpoint. But this team is too talented to not win a series. Now, let's talk. Florida hasn't won a series either. They're too talented to not win.
The old Tampa or Toronto, needs to get over to that other side somehow, get in that 4th wild card spot and somehow get to the other side.
That would be best if they could play the Rangers, Capitals, or Hurricanes.
I just don't see them beating Tampa or Florida. There's no way either of those 2 teams lose in the first round, unless Tampa's going to just have I don't know. The Wings started doing it for quite a while, just losing out in the first round and just being we're really good, but we're either going to show up to this playoffs or we're not. So
I feel like they'll show up because they want the 3-peat. I think Tampa will win a round.
I think so. Yeah. I don't think they lose the first round. I think they're definitely gonna at least win that. I don't think they'll disappoint themselves.
Right. Now, what if the Leafs get first?
That's
very
cool.
Logical. That can happen. So let's just look at that for a second and see who the Leafs will be playing. If the Leafs get first, they're playing.
It's hard to entertain just because of Tampa being so good. A couple of their players and Florida just missing Barkov or
but we
whatever.
know what Tampa.
No, I can understand that.
Tampa is the team that they could get 8th and they don't care, right? Yeah. So they don't need first and home ice. They say fuck it to that. Florida, I think they're the most complete team in the NHL. But I don't know why. I see their goaltending slowing down at some point to disappoint them from getting first. And if they get first, I have a bad feeling about them going deep.
They want to,
I don't know why.
If Toronto wants to win a round, they have to get first in this division. Yeah. If they do that, they get to me and they're playing the Rangers or the Bruins. So
and
I think you can squeeze past at least definitely the Rangers, Bruins. Give me a minute. We'll see what kind of additions they have.
You mean Pittsburgh and Bruins as the wild cards if Toronto gets first? Because Rangers are in first in the Metro.
Yeah, right now. But
Yeah.
I got Rangers kind of
right. You think they're
slipping later on.
Yeah, no, any of the teams they play. It's just that's gonna be such an interesting division because it's gonna be neck and neck till the end. And
somebody good's gonna lose out.
Yeah, someone good has to lose out, and it's important for all three teams to get first, so they don't have to play each other.
Yep.
Tampa less so than all because they know how to do it. They know you got to beat everyone to get there. They probably beat the best team in the first round last year with Florida. Like the best team they faced was probably Florida in the first round. That was definitely the best series. Like the Islanders, I know pushed harder, but realistically, Florida made Tampa sweat a bit more.
Yeah, no, they made him sweat right off the bat. That's for sure, man.
So,
that's for sure. I would have been interested to see Florida on the other side and what they would have done.
Yeah, and know what I want to see? I want it to end exactly how it is today. I want Tampa to get first, and I want to see a Florida-Toronto series because both teams need a win. And that's what will make it intense. Both teams have never won in the first round with their core. With any of their core, I don't think have won the first round pretty much on each team. Except for Verhaeghe. I just think that series would be the best, Toronto, Florida. I don't know why. I just look at that and I'm like, that's going to be high scoring and very entertaining.
Mm-hmm. That would be an entertaining series for sure.
You can't bet because it's a losing bet most years with Florida and Toronto. So that's what I think would be the best. I'm very intrigued by this, and I'm going to be watching close at this Atlantic all year.
Yeah, I wonder if one of these, exactly, Tampa doing so well, they're all right beside each other. So in all reality, any of them can finish first, so
second, third, anywhere, right? So
like, who are you putting it on? Who do you think's going to be the team out of these three if you're looking at it right now? Like I almost want to say it has to be Tampa.
Has to be Tampa with everything.
The way, with everything going on, like it'd almost be hard not to. But
I'm gonna go Florida.
I've been liking Florida forever. Like
I'm gonna go Florida. I was all in on them to start. I still am. I believe in this team. No matter what, they have a goalie they can trust at whatever direction. I know Spencer Knight's not had a great year. He'll come back in playoffs. I think he'll be fine. I think Florida to me is just due. They are so due to make noise one year.
Yeah. I think it's more of a perception thing, is that they really, really want to get that first. Like getting first is more important to them than it is
either team.
To probably Tampa and Toronto.
Probably
honestly,
both.
Toronto doesn't really care who they play or what's going on. I don't think they give a shit.
I think Toronto's in the mindset.
They want to be in the playoffs right now.
Yeah, they need to
play in the playoffs and win. That's all they want to do.
Because if Toronto miss playoffs, then all hell breaks loose. Right? They just need to get in to be happy. They lose first round, big things are going to happen. But first they need to get in. The Panthers, for the reason Tampa, I don't have faith in Tampa as much this year is because it's so hard to do 3. I know I watched Pittsburgh try and do it, and every team wants you dead. Every team. Every game we played after winning both of our cups, and we were highest you could ever be in the cap era then, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going, watching games. Teams did everything possible to hurt us, to stop us from winning. They wouldn't care. Their rival could win the cup over Pittsburgh that year, and it would be a successful season because you want to beat the champ, the 2-time champ. And that's Tampa now. And I'm not worried they're not going to be able to do it. You can only entail so much.
Yeah,
I don't care how good you are.
Shitty teams are going to beat you, Tampa, because they want to.
They
really
want
bad.
To.
You know?
Everyone wants
the shitty thing about being that team.
It's that commercial right before that Sportsnet does of Stamkos saying everyone wants to beat the champ. It's true. Everyone does want to beat the champ.
Everybody wants to beat the better teams in the league, but when it comes down to the actual last 2 times Stanley Cup champion, you're gonna put a little bit more emphasis on the game, maybe.
Like
than you think you do when it comes to like Carolina or Florida.
Yeah,
or
we've
Washington
all
or
played
something.
sports where there was 1 year and one team that was just better than everyone by a country mile. And I'm sure we've come close to tying, beating, whatever the case is, or have. And we all know how that feels of just a game that meant nothing but 2 points. Feels so good. Imagine the playoff feeling and knocking that team off. And that's every team wants to do that.
Let's clear the air here. Tampa Bay isn't first with points, but points percentage and win percentage is not there. They are in third. Florida's first, Toronto and Tampa Bay. So, yeah, I am with you on Florida. I still believe they're going to be the.
I mean, they have 122
I don't even
goals.
Remember.
Like, come
goodness,
on.
The President's Trophy. There we go. I still think they're the President's Trophy winners here, old Florida. Though I'm getting a little skeptical on that because Colorado.
They're second in goals in the NHL too.
So
Florida.
Yeah,
that's something to note. Like they have 122 goals this year.
Yeah, a plus 27 differential and a plus 28. That's pretty gross. Washington at a plus 30. Carolina at a plus 40 differential.
Calgary plus 31. Yeah, there's some good teams, but like
plus 40. That's insane.
Yeah. No, I think it's Florida's. It just seems Florida's year. I don't know why. Huberdeau's like just a monster this year. He's so good. Barkov's always good. I love the ads for Hagee, Reinhart, and Bennett over the past few years. I think
you can't screw those lineups up.
No,
it doesn't matter who the hell you put together.
You have
you
3
play,
lines.
Duclair on the fourth line half the time when he's not playing super good because you don't have enough.
You
spots.
bury that's imagine being
amazing.
Yeah, imagine being so good of a team that when Duclair, who's only been on shitty teams, is playing bad, you're able to play him on the fourth line, third line.
Yeah.
Frank Vetrano's on this team was very good. Like there is everyone. Lundell is someone who's a rookie and has been crazy good. Owen Tippett, like they have the offense they need. Their defense. Have
you heard about that Mammon man? Like he's been playing with Barkov. He's been playing in the top 6 all the time the last little bit.
Just random guys.
Awesome. Like
this is he's this year's Mason Marchman. Like just casually playing top 6.
Like wasn't he like their captain for like a year?
Who's that? Marchman?
Mason Marchman.
No, he was last year. He played with Barkov and Verhaeghe. He played on the
random dude as a captain.
You're thinking of who was their captain a couple of years ago? I know who you're talking about.
Just some random forward. So awesome. But yeah, no, this forward line is just disgusting, man. I love it. And what are they missing? Anybody? Sam Reinhart and Marchman out of this lineup I'm looking at. Like Jesus, wow. Oh, what a gross team. Can't wait for these guys in the playoffs. That's the one thing that I'm really looking forward to. See how they actually do in in the
playoffs. Huh?
Yeah, I just don't know if they can.
Derek McKenzie is the old captain.
That's who it was.
That took too long for me to find, but yeah. And then right before that, there was Willie Mitchell for 2 years, and then Ed Jovovsky.
Nice.
Jovo Cop.
What beauty captains.
Yeah, and then Brian McCabe in 2010s, and then Olli Jokinen for a good 4 years in the 2000s.
Olli Jokinen,
and then
Jokinen used to be so good.
Yeah. Oh.
Love Jokic.
He's I don't know if he is anymore because I think Barkov passed him this year, but Olli Jokinen's the highest point getter in franchise history for the Panthers.
Oh wow.
Which
that's awesome.
That's not great considering Olli Jokinen as a player. He was good,
awesome,
but
oh man, he lit it up there
for a couple years, but he wasn't on the team that long, and he's the franchise leader, right?
Exactly.
But that's why I think
5 years.
I think Barkov is now their leading.
I want to say he is maybe.
Oh, that's cool. I'm just randomly on this site and randomly found out today is Nico Heischer's birthday. So happy birthday, Nico Heischer. That's just randomly showed up on this page. But yeah, I just wanted to bring up the Atlantic, and we're gonna be watching it like a hawk. Do you guys have any final teams to talk about? I got. Do you want to talk about the Rangers to close off the podcast? But if there's any other teams or stuff you want to talk about, now is the time.
And I don't think so.
Don't think so?
I don't think so.
Cool.
I mean, the big one for me was the Wild today. So
yeah, exactly. Recalling those two young boys. So
yep.
Cool. Let's talk about the Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got injury corner. We'll close off.
Yeah, are we gonna do that future watch thing? Because I got one thing for that. We could do that at the very end.
We'll do that next podcast. Let's spread those and the injury corners out. So one podcast will do future watch and the next, because I didn't know we were doing every episode, so I have nothing prepared for that. Let's do Jordan's injury corner now, and we'll close off with the Rangers quick and talk about how hot they've been.
Sounds like a plan. So this injury corner is a lot of bad injuries.
Yeah, and sorry, and also you got some guys coming back to close out on?
Yeah, a few.
Okay, cool. So start off with the injuries, and then we'll get into the better news.
Yeah, we'll start with the bad news, and yeah, obviously we'll get with the lighter. To start with, we've got Markus Niemelainen. He broke a bone in his hand. I'm not sure what exactly, but he'll be out for at least a month.
Yeah, that's Finnish defenseman. It's pretty good. Pretty good prospect.
The sad one, at least for me, the big sad one, Brandon Tanev. He will be out for the season. He suffered a tore ACL in his right knee.
Yeah, Seattle Kraken's best forwards out.
Yeah, and their locker room guy too, right? Good news, he had successful surgery on the 30th of December. He is expected to be back for the start of the next regular season.
That's good at least, but
yeah, especially with
nothing good to take out from an ACL injury.
Exactly.
No, the only thing good is successful surgery.
And it might be a blessing in disguise. Maybe this team will realize he can't win them the games. Somebody else has to actually do something.
Yeah, maybe someone else will actually step up.
Another ACL, Jakub Zaboral. He also had successful surgery. His timeline is about 6 to 9 months, so they think he might be back for training camp.
Well, there goes some of my trade deadline stuff.
Yeah. So 2 ACLs right there, and we've got another, I think, MCL coming up. So
yeah, that's tough for Zaboral, because I was looking forward to seeing him move on and hopefully do something somewhere else.
Finally get a career boost.
Probably gonna have to wait another year.
Yeah. Chychrun will be out at least 2 weeks with an upper body injury.
At least it's only 2 weeks. They need to get some picks for him.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope they trade him. I want to see another big trade. I really want to see another big trade this year.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
But
Ryan Dzingel, he'll be out until at least the 12th with an upper body injury.
He's a coyote too, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Forget he signed with them this year.
Yeah, he's actually been good for them.
Yeah, he's probably their best forward with how many guys they trade away. But yeah, honestly, you can pretty much rifle through all the Arizona ones because we know what they are. I don't want to say anything bad about them because they're gonna be on the up, but we know what direction they are going towards. They might not even be real injuries, half of them, so they can lose more games. Anyways, continue. Sorry.
The aforementioned MCL injury I talked about is from Justin Danforth. So this is a big blow to Columbus's depth because I think he's been wicked for them this season.
Danforth.
Yeah. So he suffered a sprained MCL, thankfully not ruptured or anything. Sprained MCL in his left knee. He has about a 6-week recovery time, so that lands him back hopefully around mid-February.
Oh, that's not bad. Tail end of the season he'll get.
Yeah, especially with a knee injury, that's a hopeful recovery.
Hopefully, if I'm being honest, not for his sake, this sounds like a bad thing. I kind of hope he doesn't play the rest of the year in the NHL and just repair. Knee injuries scare the shit out of me. You'll know that based on how much I've talked about it and it's happened to me. If you can take the extra time for your knee, especially MCL,
yeah.
Did you say? Sorry, did you say it was just a tear, an MCL tear?
No, it was sprained.
Okay, sprained. That's what I was about to say. It's like 6 weeks for your MCL is pretty good for a tear. That's usually like 6 months. But sorry, continue.
That's okay. A really tough one. Max Pacioretty. He'll be out until at least March with a wrist injury.
Yeah, this one sucks. He was playing outstanding this past month, like on fire. I haven't seen Pacioretty play this good, honestly. Like him, Stevenson, and Stone were like just again fire. Like I don't know what's gonna happen when Eichel comes. Like this team, I know Patches is dope, but like he sometimes doesn't show up. Right? That's my issue with him. Sure. He's not consistent enough anymore, but I get it. He's 33. Is it his wrist? Did you say, Jordan?
Yes, his wrist.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough.
One
that
of
might
those
hurt his
old
shots.
guys where it's just like, yeah, dude,
this might ruin his career.
Wrist issues for like ever.
I really hope this is one of those things like Crosby, where he's like, I played through it for a couple of years, and I think it just finally gave, and I need to fix it. Hopefully it's something.
Well, this is how you
that he can is.
This is how you bring Eichel back, because if you have like a whole bunch of all your money
Stevenson
on LTIR,
you
just simply bring Eichel back in. And
how long? What's his timeline?
Pacioretty, you have Martinez.
Eichel is looking like he'll be back around March.
What about Pacioretty? What's his timeline?
Pacioretty, his timeline is March as well.
He's not coming back till playoffs. Nope. He won't be. Pacioretty's not back till playoffs. They're gonna.
Exactly.
They'll Kucherov him. How much money did we say they needed, Chase? Sorry, I know we're kind of off on a tangent about the Vegas, but this is important.
They gotta be well, basically
$7 million. We said, right? 7.5.
Yeah, like if you keep. Well, in all reality, you're accumulating that LTI all year, and they've been able to keep that basically at the max.
Yeah,
because like there's like $10 million
on the IR too
that can actually be on the LTIR. You can have more on the LTIR, but it doesn't actually give you any cap flexibility or savings or anything like that. But they definitely have had that full $10 million on like almost all year, because they've had Stone, they've had Touch, they've had like Eichel. Literally everybody.
Eichel since they've got him, so
so they've basically had this
Martinez.
$10 million. Yeah, Alec Martinez is on there right now. So how long do you have any idea when he's back? I totally forgot about. I was gonna look. But yeah, like I feel like they can just bring Eichel back with all these guys on injury. Like they're gonna have like $10 million on LTIR anyways. Like. We'll just bring them back, and then the playoffs will come, and
they don't have to trade anyone away. So, like, that makes my trade bait board changes a lot, because Riley Smith is probably not getting traded now. Neither is Dadonov. Like, maybe Dadonov if they want to get rid of that cap for, like, a different player. And same with Smith. Like, there's still options to move to create cap space to bring in another. Like, a D-man for Vegas would go a long way. This year.
Yeah, instead of relying on like low 20.
A top 4 right-handed D-man would go a very long way for Vegas as
like I pumped their tires a lot. I love that White Cloud.
What about a Miller?
Coughlin and that.
Why don't they bring Miller back or something?
Hag.
Yeah,
Hag or whatever. I love those guys. They're all they're young. Like you could probably get another guy, but
I think it would go a long way to get a right-handed D-man. And
I think it would be
like a top 4 guy. So, sorry, no, that was just some cap news about Vegas. This is big news. The injury, because it helps you able to bring back Eichel easier without trading away.
Mm-hmm.
They can keep that perfection line or the misfit line there now of Smith, Carlson,
100%.
Marcia. So that's the line I want to see for the rest of time.
I was never worried about that line.
I
was a little bit just because of the off year that Smith had, but he came back this year and he looks good.
I wasn't worried about the line like playing wise when they're together, but I was worried it wasn't going to stick together anymore, because I thought they were going to have to trade Smith or wouldn't be able to re-sign him with them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he bounced back this year, and I think it should be fine. I love the line. I don't think they'll change. I don't think they'll move those guys out anymore. Like I know that because like I feel
off season still.
Dadonov would be the guy first. I'd be moving him before I'm taking Smith, that's for sure. So, like I said, I don't know if they even have to do that now. I don't even know if they have to do that now.
Off season, we'll talk different, but for the deadline, I don't think so. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Jordan, you can continue.
No, that's okay. Eriksson Ek will be out until the end of the month with an upper body injury.
That's tough. Minnesota really could use him. I really wonder if they should trade for a center now instead of waiting until the deadline.
Equally bad news for Minnesota. Spurgeon will also be out till the end of the month with a lower body injury.
Yeah, I've been wondering what his injury was for a bit now. That's a tough blow. He is having a good season too, but saving grace, you get to see what Dumba's made of as a first right pairing D-man, right? Yeah. If he doesn't do it, maybe it gives you more of a green light to trade him and utilize that cap space better.
Yep.
I know Chase doesn't like that, but I don't know. Are you for or against Dumba being traded? Because you kind of flip-flop with it.
Well, it doesn't matter to me. Like, obviously, I don't care.
Well, I know, but
I'd be fine with him getting traded. I'd be fine with him staying.
But that's the point of a podcast. Like, what would you do? I don't give a fuck what they're going to do.
We did our GMs. I would have traded him. I'd be trading him after the end of this year to Montreal or something like that. Yeah.
So you'd still think trading him is a better option?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm still kind of on the fence, but I'd probably at this point now, where the team and how it's been going, I don't think he wouldn't do it. I don't think he'd do it now.
Not until Spurgeon's back. Maybe when Spurgeon's back, if you can get some real player for it, only for an upgrade. You only do it for an upgrade until the off season. But
I would have heavily considered it this off season, and then the way they've been playing this year, I think I'm okay with it. But
$6 million is a lot of money. So
I still think you're going to end up having to trade him at some point. You might just be stuck either signing him and trading him a year or two into his contract, or just because you got Callan Adamson and stuff like that. Like, I think in due time, this guy's got to be out the door. So it's
fair enough.
I feel like you do have to trade him in the next. You might as well, because his contract's in there. Tough, man. I like him on that team. I really do.
So in a nutshell, I was right the first time. You don't know.
Probably. I guess I'd trade him though. Probably, because in the future you're gonna have to at some point.
Fair enough.
In the next 3 or 4 years. So
Jordan, what else do you have for us?
Josh Anderson, he will miss 2 to 4 weeks with an upper body injury.
Might as well sit him all year and go for that lottery pick, Montreal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Chase. Ryan Pulock, he's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks with a lower body injury.
4 to 6 weeks for Pulock. Yeah, that's just Islanders just digging up deeper. I think they just commit to having a bad season just this year.
Yeah, I think so too.
Maybe next year. Go again next year, but take the year off.
Yeah.
I did have that pickup. If you
I was actually just gonna.
Yeah, no, that was kind of naturally brought up. I didn't know when to randomly interrupt. It was where it is. I'll just read it out. The better of Montreal and Carolina's 22 first-round pick. But if either both are top 10 picks, then they will transfer the other one. So basically, they're going to be in the bottom 10. So they won't give up their pick. They'll give
Carolina's.
They'll give the Carolina pick to Arizona.
Gotcha. That makes sense. I knew there was some weird stuff that was the better of the 2 picks in some way if teams were good, but yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Sorry, you can continue now, Jordan.
No, that's okay. Yeah. That's
Anderson out.
That's it for the injuries. So now we've just got a few updates.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So the better of the news. Ryan Ellis, he's looking like he could return mid-January from his lower body injury.
I don't know what to do with Philly this year. I genuinely don't know what you do as Philly. I'm so lost. I honestly, the way you are with Matt Dumba is how I feel about Philadelphia's entire team. Do you keep everyone? Do you trade everyone? There's one person I can confidently say I would not trade at all. Maybe 3, but 1 for sure, and that's Carter Hart. He's the only one that I'm like, well,
I'd say him and Provorov.
Him. Provorov for me is not guarantee because I would want to keep him, but I would prefer to actually keep Farabee and Frost over him. Just too much potential there with those two. Like, you never know. Provorov, I understand why you keep him, but other than that, like, trade everyone.
Like we said,
I wonder how much you can get if you just, like, for 2 years straight, just traded everyone on your hockey team.
Yeah, I don't think that's the solution.
I don't either, but I would love to see that.
Yeah, like we talked about the other podcast, I'd probably just get rid of the Giroux and the Risto and see what your team does, see how your team responds after that. Because
both them and Chicago will be fighting to get a top pick. They should get. Problem is, like, Philly. I don't think Philly should. What if Philly doubled down on a player? So if they trade Risto for someone with term to replace him, and then like traded Giroux for like a prospect who's ready to play right now or something, who's decent. I don't know. Like what if they do some kerfuckling around like that? Yeah, like a solid prospect D-man who's playing now. Like, could you get like? Yeah. I'm not saying this is a trade by any means, but is someone like a lower tier of like a Boquist available? That would be pretty dope for that team. Or what about Brandstrom? What if you go to like Ottawa and trade Claude Giroux for Eric Brandstrom?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
does that interest anyone? Like, I don't know if I'm fishing for nothing, but like
I like the idea. Like, exactly. I don't think you just
a retool.
I don't think you have to just straight trade these guys for picks or something. Mm-hmm. It'd be nice to get at least a first round pick, but you could definitely, to me, you can definitely use one of the two trades that I think you should do.
Trade Risto for like Ryan Merkley or like something.
Yeah, like actually get something back. You know, there's exactly.
Victor Soderstrom. Well, I guess that wouldn't work because they wouldn't take Risto or Giroux. But if they traded for a pick and then got Soderstrom, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, there's options.
Trade for a guy with a good cap hit for a couple of years.
Yeah, like on entry level, playing in the NHL, but someone you can give up on. I don't know. There's probably tons of those guys. Maybe a Callan Addison you could steal for Giroux. That would be pretty good. I feel like
you can just trade for the picks if you really want to, because in all reality, you have a lot of guys, and like Tyson Forrester.
Yeah,
you said Morgan Frost. There's Isaac Ratcliffe.
I don't think you trade
German
Frost.
Rubasov. Like, you got a lot of players, so like I don't really think you need to get more of those guys. Maybe you get a guy that
Cam York.
Maybe you get a defenseman that can kind of push you. Unless a Cam York is actually close or something. Like,
that's what I wonder.
Should probably squeeze at least one of those guys out of this deadline. Is try to get somebody on a defense side that's actually going to be solid for you for the next little bit.
This prospect pool for Philly is a little bit like scarce. It's getting scarce quick. Like, Hextall did a great job, but they're not lasting long. Well, I mean, I know a lot are making the NHL, like Farabee, Frost, and Cam York soon enough. Like, those are some big names, but oh boy, they're really pretty thin on some high-end prospects, Philly. But yeah, Ryan Ellis coming back. I don't know what you do with him. Do you trade him away again? Maybe, but that'll be good. You can continue. Yeah, I think you can continue off Philly. Philly is the most fucked team. Like, I
just hope they have a really bad year. I think it's the best thing for them to have a really bad year. Like, what's their trade? Like, is their
they don't have their pick though
protected?
I have no idea. We'd have to check the Risto trade.
That was straight up traded. That was for that
straight up traded for Ristolainen or something. Yeah, like
Isaac Rosen is that pick.
Yeah, man.
We saw in the World Juniors.
Oh yeah,
so they do have their.
They do have it this year. It was last year's. They don't have a second though for 2 years. Whatever. Jordan, continue. I give up on Philly.
Before I continue, I have an injury to announce. Word has just come out that Dougie Hamilton has broken his jaw.
Oh, so he'll be out for like a week and
at
then put like a shield on or something. What's that, sorry?
I said it's not looking good. It could be at least 6 weeks.
I doubt he'll be out that long.
I doubt it too, but
he'll put a face shield or something on to play.
It's literally just minutes out. So
I love that you brought up Dougie Hamilton, because do you want to know something crazy? Based on minutes per game, do you know what number of defensemen he is? So like based on like going 1, 2, 3 or whatever. Can you guys guess which number out of the 6 defensemen on the Devils he is based on minutes per night recently?
Is he number 1?
5th. He's 5th on the team on minutes.
Wow.
Severson and Siegenthaler are number 1 and 2 on the top.
Nice.
And then Ty Smith is on the last, is the 6th one. So they got PK Subban playing slightly more minutes than Hamilton. And who else is on that decor? Graves, Ryan Graves. And he's playing a decent amount more. So crazy little Dougie Hamilton fact to the end.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Jordan, any more good news?
Yeah, I've got 2 things. So
okay, good.
Joel Edmondson, he could make his season debut this month.
Yeah, that would be dope. That will help the Habs a lot.
That would help the Habs a lot.
I don't know if the Habs want to be helped
as well.
I genuinely don't know if the Habs want to be helped.
Yeah,
maybe they trade Edmondson. That'd be pretty nuts. That'd be interesting. You might be able to get a lot for Edmondson.
Want
a big left-handy man. Cool. So, anyways,
finally, the one we've been waiting for, Evgeny Malkin. He can make his season debut.
Yeah,
hopefully this month from his knee injury.
This week.
It's looking like it's going to be at least halfway through the month when he makes it. So it could be this week or next.
The goal is to play him first game on the road trip this week, and that he looks like 200%. That his knee feels better than it ever has, apparently. I have not heard one bad thing about Malkin's recovery. I am super pumped for this because Pittsburgh has been playing so good without him. Guys, imagine him back. Like, Rodriguez is gonna, if he can still score like half of what he's doing now, playing on the wing with Malkin, or like Kapanen can start firing on cylinders with him. Like, this team could be. I think, but we all know what happens when star players come back. So we're gonna lose the next couple games for 4 or 5 games, and then
you're going another 10.
Then we're gonna go on a 10-game win streak or something like that, or like 10 out of like 12 will win. So no, super super excited for that. Hopefully this week. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But anyways, so that's it for your injury corner / injury return.
Yes, sir, it is.
Cool. Let's I got nothing else really to say, so let's just quickly close it off with less of a confusing team than the Flyers and go to New York.
Wait, actually, I have one more thing.
Oh, you got one more?
Sorry, this just came up. Jonathan Bernier is done for the season.
Ooh,
shit.
Oh, that sucks.
No way.
Yeah, he just had successful hip surgery.
At least it's successful. That's the upside. Yeah. But damn, that sucks.
Yeah.
Talk about timing for the injury corner.
Yeah, no kidding. Good timing. The Devils just released 2 huge ones.
Oh my. Yeah, well, besides the Devils, let's go up to New York and to the Rangers, more the happier side of New York in the hockey world.
God, yeah, they gotta be happy.
And let's talk about how well this Rangers team is playing, how much you guys believe, and in Chase's case, maybe don't as much believe in this team. What are you guys' thoughts? Throw it over to you, Jordan. You can kick it off with the Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't sold on the Rangers. I haven't been sold on the Rangers continuing this, but I'm happy to be proven wrong so far. I mean, they thrashed Edmonton the other night. Gorgiev looked fucking fantastic.
Yeah, they started chants in Edmonton that they might fire Tippett.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen, but yeah, I like this team. There's a lot I like. There's a lot I don't like. I still think this defense isn't that good, but it's working. They have 4 players still on their ELC on their defense. Like, you never see that.
Hell yeah.
3 20-year-olds.
Yeah,
Miller,
so
Lundqvist, and Jones. Like, this is the type of stuff you do in a video game. When you don't want the old guys with big contracts, you trade for all the 20-year-olds and start them, and eventually they'll get better if you keep playing the minutes.
Yeah, and you win,
and it's working
every year.
Yeah, and you win. You finally start winning. I don't understand what's happening here, but it's
got Lindgren just being so good.
He's awesome.
Miller's just fit in like a glove.
He's
Kreider has continued to deny much.
20 goals.
20 goals. Do you guys know the stats between Kreider and Zibanejad? I don't know if it changed because Zibanejad just got a hat trick, but I read this yesterday on Twitter that they have the exact same number of points. Chris Kreider had 20 goals, 13 assists. Zibanejad had 13 goals, 20 assists.
Wow.
And they play on the same line. So I just thought that was super cool. Those two together, they are crazy good together. Kreider, 31 points, 20 goals. Zibanejad is epic at 30 goals, or 30 points, 11 goals, 19 assists. They're epic, and they're doing it right now without Panarin, which is impressive in itself.
Got that Libor Hayek playing.
Hayek's playing. I love it. He's nice. How many times have we talked about him? Just play him. He's good enough to play as a third pair guy. He's trustworthy enough. And finally, they are him and who's the guy in Montreal we love too? Kulak.
Oh yeah,
Brett
Kulak.
Yeah. Love a bit of that Brett Kulak. Yeah, but no, Hayek is definitely that. I don't know though. This team, I keep thinking oh, they're gonna slow down, but they don't.
Yeah, hey, that's what I'm having trouble with because I'm still not gonna put them as a top 5 team. They're doing it.
No,
but
right?
I'm not there with that at all. I think Pittsburgh can end up being better than this team.
I think they can too.
I only had them going up 1 ranking in my overall standings. So I have them at 15th overall, but I have them making the playoffs. So that's...
Yeah, they for sure make playoffs after Philly and New York.
The way I'm looking at it right now, I think maybe I am still wrong, and they're gonna be better than Boston. So they'll be the first wild card team.
I think they'll be better than Boston.
I like Pittsburgh, I like Washington, and I like Carolina, and I don't see the Rangers being ahead of them. When the year is over, I can't see it. I can't see it happening.
I can for one name and one name only, and that's Igor Shesterkin. He saves this defense, saves it day in, day out. He keeps playing how he is. They're a top 3 team in the Metro. I don't see how. Maybe whoever it could be. Washington tends to slip late in the season with a couple games. I wonder how Carolina's gonna do late. Not that they're gonna miss playoffs by any means, but you never know, they might slip. Malkin's coming back, so Pittsburgh's bound to lose a couple games coming up. There's a lot of key stuff.
Yeah, man, that was crazy.
Dead ass there. Yeah, Jack Hughes.
That's so crazy. It was
we called
7 games in a row.
Awful. Ruined the Devils' playoff chances.
And then, he ruined that team, and now they just look awesome again.
Now he looks like every worth penny of the $8 million contract he just signed. Hey. That's insane.
Yeah, no, I'm wondering how. I think obviously Pittsburgh should go up from here, but who knows? Maybe the play goes down with actually.
Jory gets tired.
Yeah,
that's my biggest concern.
I just don't see the sustainability on the Rangers. I know they can sustain probably scoring goals, but I guess that's the league now. Maybe they can stay up here because they can sustain scoring these goals.
I think they can.
I was talking about with Minnesota, I'm a little worried that they can sustain this goal pace. Right. I'm not really that worried about it with the Rangers. If anything, a lot of these guys are playing, Laffy could probably be better. Kakko could be better.
They're playing different roles. I actually want to talk about Kakko for a second, because for all the people saying he's a bust out here, you haven't really been watching him lately.
He's way more of a 200-foot player than
he is not a scorer. I thought he was going to score, but he's not a scorer. He is a very, very reliable
He is
guy.
a Finnish player.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
Like, he's dope. I actually think he's very good. And the points might actually come. Like, I think he's going to be a 60-point guy consistently at certain point, at like when he's 25-ish. But Laugh's the one you want to see the like numbers flying off the shelves. And I don't want to say he's been bad, because he definitely hasn't. He's been better than slightly better than he has last year. He's got 8 goals. Like, he's a goal scorer. He's a goal scorer.
He's starting to score goals, so that's good.
Once you find him comfortable in a spot on the power play and on a line, like, he's just got to gel with someone perfect, and finally it'll...
I mean, he's still 20. Right?
He's 20. I'm giving him time.
Figure it out.
I understand. I'm a little more concerned of him being the, like, franchise-altering winger that everyone thought he was going to be. Like, I don't necessarily know if he might be that anymore.
I know. Hey, I'm getting kind of...
But I'm a little unsure about that aspect, but I think he's still going to be a point-per-game winger.
Yeah, it seems like the guy...
And, like, a 30-goal scorer.
6'2", like he's going to be a force on the ice.
Like, if he's as good of a level as Svechnikov, I would be very happy with that. I think that would be solid, but you'd expect more. You would have wanted more based on where he's projected. But at the same time, point per game, I think is what he's maybe slightly under 70-point, 30-goal guy is very something he can get in his career. I think that'll come with time.
Yeah.
Once they lean on him more. They'll have to lean on him once Panarin's done, or close to. In like
like they're doing the building and like the slow grow. They're not just basically here go. Why aren't you getting 1,000 points? Go get 1,000 points right off the bat. So
and they'll have a new coach, and eventually a coach will bring it out of him. Like we saw,
eventually him and Panarin are gonna just completely destroy the league.
And
like,
then they'll have. I wonder if what they're missing is like just the right center to pass.
Yeah, exactly.
They just need like I know like, Ryan Strom's not bad, but
Ryan Strom's not the guy. He's like those two players. You don't need another you need
guy
like a Bergeron or like somebody who's just
Backstrom is what you need. You can definitely.
I don't really know if you need like an actual offensive player. Like you got Laffy and Panarin on the line. You don't need any more offense.
That's true.
But like some
but just
mediocre,
the passing ability.
Smart.
I'm thinking
safety centerman.
Yeah, there's a lot. Well, what about like if the Rangers, let's say Kadri doesn't come back to Colorado, he could bring.
Yeah, that would be a
great fit. Someone like that.
Hit that Hurdle dog.
Hurdle wouldn't be bad.
Madness in between those two guys. It'd be a little strange.
It would be a little too much scoring battling. I would worry. Like I know Panarin can definitely get assists, but like they all feel like guys that should be scoring 30, 40 goals. I think he's just too much of a goal scorer. No, you're not necessarily too good. Like, why would you put? It's similar if you put Matthews there. Like,
toss the old Ryan Hartman in between them. There you go.
Yeah, Ryan Hartman.
Like dinner. Actually, probably would work. Not too bad. But yeah, just somebody like doesn't have to be somebody crazy. Like you got the Zibanejad, you've got big
Sean Monahan
all over the place. You're not going to be able to afford somebody.
Maybe Monahan would work.
That's not a terrible idea. Maybe he works there. He's a much better offensive player.
Yeah.
If he doesn't have to do much of the actual work,
if he just has to win the puck battles, then
yeah, exactly. Maybe that's his forte, and he can excel on a line like that. Like let's be serious. That's what he did, was just kind of hang around the net.
Yeah, he played with Goudreau and
those guys for.
I don't remember.
Kind of how that worked so well.
There, like
Lindholm was.
Yeah, he was on the wing that time.
Yeah, for that first bit there.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple guys that we can list off that would be pretty good for that spot, and I think
that actually might be a super good idea. Hey, Monahan to the Rangers, because like you might be able to get him cheap as Borscht next year or something.
Yeah,
like, isn't he coming up on a contract?
His year is up this year. His contract's up this year.
Sure. You almost don't want to trade for him.
Next year.
If he does good, then you'd have to give him a contract.
Know what though? I still think you'd do that. I still think if you can make the money work, you'd probably have to give up Ryan Strome in the deal in some capacity. And maybe
one of your
a 3-way trade. I think what you do is you make a 3-way trade. You trade Ryan Strome to someone who needs a forward who has abundance of defense. Send a defenseman to Calgary. And then Monahan to the Rangers. Yeah. And then you keep Monahan until his contract's up. Because it's only... Then you get the 1.5 years that we all want. To see if it works. If it works, you get 2 cup chances with him. You can see if you want to pay him back, he'll be 29-ish around then when that happens. So there's a lot of options. Lots of options for this Rangers team. But no, they're playing outstanding. You guys don't know if they can sustain it as much. Probably right. But they have Shesterkin, so I think they're for sure a playoff team. Like, they're safe a playoff team now. Especially being first in the NHL at this point. So kind of hard to fall out. But
yeah,
do you guys have anything else to add to the Rangers before I close out and plug our stuff?
Nah.
No, I mean, they're just surprisingly good.
Surprisingly good, and we'll see if they can sustain it. But anyways, that's been our podcast for the week. Thanks for listening. Go follow us on our social medias on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We're posting on all that stuff way more frequently. So go like some posts, follow it, retweet it, share it, do all that you can. That would be muchly grateful. But until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.